Hello everybody, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Obviously, those of you who are tuning in, welcome back to the Oceania F1 Invitational. Great to be back. We witnessed, obviously, a fantastic race last night at Spa-Francorchamps. And I bet, well, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to have another cracker tonight when we go around the Oostenrijk Ring. Of course, now known as the Red Bull Ring, formerly known as Oostenrijk Ring, and the A1 Ring. We head to the Styrian Mountains for what can only be described as one of the shortest laps in the world of Formula One. And we're looking forward to seeing who's going to be the fastest in qualifying to get us started, but then also the race. Who has the minerals? Obviously, off the back of yesterday, we did witness Al Karudin, obviously one of the most fantastic moves you'll ever see on the final lap, heading into bus stop chicane. And we heard him obviously chatting about his restaurant. He certainly is a wholesome young man, and now he's a race winner here in this Oceania Championship. Looking forward, though, to see who's going to come out on top tonight. Will it be him? Will it be somebody else? My name is, of course, George Morgan. Joining me in the commentary box here tonight for the first time, Ben Connor, also known as Karma. Ben, how are you doing, sir? You keeping well?
Oh, mate, I am absolutely pumped for tonight. I was very excited for tonight, and obviously last night. It was a very good race, a lot of biffing and baffing and a bit of glitches last night. So hopefully we get less glitches and more good racing tonight. But I'm very excited to see what these guys have to offer.
Well, I think we're definitely going to be in for a real treat. We do have some housekeeping to bring you folks as well. Obviously, with a bit of an amended lineup, a few new names have stepped in, few have remained. Ryan Bell and Al Karudin, of course, making up that dual Red Bull product that we have right at the top there. Oscar King and Matt Plevey together in the Ferrari. Gregory Prisbill, who was quite sensational in yesterday's race at Spa. Shimon Path back alongside him as well. Jack Humphreys, after the hardships of yesterday, fought back after losing out in the opening lap. Dropped all the way down to P20 and managed to clamber all his way back up into P7. Speaking to him earlier on today, he had a chance of grabbing the front row of the grid in qualifying, but unfortunately got hampered by the Haas of Zachary Smith. Let's see if he can bounce back and essentially seek redemption here tonight. The Simo also joins him alongside him at AlphaTauri as well, or Alpine, I should say. Riley McKay in the McLaren alongside GeForce Crichton, and they're going to be a partnership there at the Amber Army, or certainly the team all dressed in papaya. Jacob Conius and BPV8 for the Alfa Romeo lineup. Kieran Potter in the Aston Martin, of course, will be left ruining after what happened yesterday, obviously coming together with the Riley McKay's McLaren on the run-up through towards Lake Com. Threw away what could have been a sensational victory. After controlling the race from the outset, he certainly did deliver. Thomas McInnes also back alongside him too. Luke Rochford steps in on this occasion, coming in for Geordie, who's out at this stage at the Haas team. Zachary Smith alongside him. Marcus Costa, what a drive yesterday as well. Unfortunately hampered by a penalty. VSC Boza alongside him as well. Now Boza steps in for Seb, who is also out at AlphaTauri. Jordan Arnold is also in the Williams team, and Bags Liddell steps up alongside as Impulse had to back out because he's got a broken GPU, so has hampered his prospects in racing tonight. But we'll have to wait and see how he handles it. Obviously, a new teammate going for Jordan Arnold here this evening. But lots to look at, folks, and just digesting this mere fact as well. Ideal for some, not ideal for others. Obviously, some of the drivers have already had time to sort of embed themselves in the Oceania Championship this season, Ben. Same can't be said for those that are stepping in. How far behind are they?
Well, there are some drivers that do actually compete against the drivers that are in here. So like Bags Liddell competes in OCE alongside a lot of us, as well as in OSRL. So he's been able to taste a lot of the get ready and whatnot for a lot of these guys that are racing tonight. Same with Bozza. He's also in Tier 1 OSRL. And I believe in the McLaren, it's actually Leo racing tonight and not Crichton. So that was a little boo-boo made by Slammer.
Looking at you, Slammer. Good on you, mate. We're looking at you.
Good on you, mate. But yeah, they will have a little bit to catch up on. But, you know, if BPV8 decides he wants to start from the back of the grid again, then they only have to worry about losing 4 in the first session. So they got a lot of work to do, but Austria, it's all about fine margins.
It is, and obviously many parts on this track are high speed as well. Very minimal heavy braking zone. You've got the mid-speed corners as well. You head through towards turn 1. Obviously, that can open a few doors for you as well. It's a balance of risk and reward in that stage. You've got the run-up, though, towards turn 3. You could argue that turn 3 is actually turn 2 because there is that little nick in the corner. Obviously, they call that turn 2. It isn't really much of a corner, to be honest, but turn 3 up at Remus is obviously a heavy braking zone that many drivers choose to make a lunge up the inside as well. Great opportunity there for overtaking. One of the only heavy braking zones on this track. The other one, of course, being the next one at turn 4. When you head down into Slosh Gold, you keep it pinned to the inside, certainly if you're in qualifying. But in terms of the actual race format, it's a very good prime overtaking spot. We've seen Alex Albon go toe-to-toe with Lewis Hamilton over the years there. Of course, remember when Albon got unstuck heading through that section of track. And then we have the double left-handers. You've got the Wirth and Roche curves heading through the next double left, which is a mid-speed corner of sorts. You can carry the throttle, but you do have to be cautious because there's a gravel trap on the right-hand side, which can certainly collect you if you're not careful enough, literally around this track. Like I said, high speed, but it does carry its risks. And then you have the incredible Jochenrindt corner, the in-swinger to the right-hand side that tees up the Red Bull Mobile curve, which then takes you down the home straight to begin yet another lap. Definitely, I would say, the two corners where we're going to see most overtakes, it's going to be turn 3 and it's going to be turn 4, Ben. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We could maybe see some mystery moves into turn 1. I know Jack Humphries loves a good old move down into turn 1 from previous experience, but yeah, definitely turn 3. We may see a lot of lunges, and it's very interesting with turn 3 where you can actually go down the inside or the outside depending on what tyre compound you're on and the age of those. So definitely looking forward to seeing what these boys can produce tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, DRS being a focal point as well. Down the main straight is useful. But then, of course, you do have the run heading down towards turn 4 out of turn 3 where they like to apply it. The run up towards turn 3 can be useful as well. We've seen many drivers, obviously, just by mere slipstream, being able to get alongside their opponents and obviously make sure they take that tiger line heading up through towards turn 3. Something I think we'll see a lot of tonight as well when we head racing there. If you're someone like Al Karud now, Ben, obviously someone who's raced as well yesterday, taken victory, it was in dramatic style as well. A sensational overtake at bus stop. You rarely see it, let alone on the final lap. I mean, what's he got to do tonight? Can he carry that same momentum here tonight at Red Bull Ring?
Yeah, he absolutely can. It's like what Oscar King said last night. It relies a lot on that battery management, and like Oscar said, he burnt a lot of that battery quite early on, so he wasn't able to defend down through Blanchimont on the last lap. So maybe some of these drivers would have seen what happened last time and be like, okay, I've got to be a bit more reserved about my battery usage, and this may go against Al Cruden, but you know, anything can happen. Like we saw, Ryan Bell got the 3-second penalty on the second last lap, I believe, or the last lap. So anything can happen. Anyone can win, really, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's opportunities for everybody. Of course, we've got a stacked grid here tonight, racing in this Oceania Championship. And again, like I said, phenomenal. And I think it shows as well, folks. We want to see as well. Big thank you to each and every single one of you for tuning in, because I believe we actually had a peak of 140, just under 150 live viewers yesterday, which is absolutely unbelievable. So thank you guys so much. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you smash a follow down and check out the socials. And also, you can join the Discord. I know Slammer's going to be on hand to dish out some links as well, so you can get on board with all of that. But we're just about to head into qualifying, so let us know who you're supporting in the live chat as well. We've got Q1, Q2, Q3, full qualifying system here tonight as well. Then after that 50% race with plenty of variances, weather does impact everything as well. And, you know, not to mention, with that elements of risk. Certainly we speak about risk in the track itself, but Q1, Q2, Q3 format is very interesting, and it requires drivers to think on their feet a bit, Ben.
Yeah, it does. They've got to make sure that they don't burn through those soft tyres in the first 2 stints, because then you won't have any rubber for the 3rd stint. Obviously, last night we had rain. I'm unsure of what our weather patterns are looking like for tonight, but yeah, they've got to make sure they don't go through that soft tyre. Because it's Austria, we may see some medium tyres, because obviously it's a shorter lap. You have, you know, less room for the delta to affect you. So it'll be interesting to see what they run tonight.
Yeah, well, they're just getting ready to go now. Obviously, it's all quiet in the pit lane as things stand, and we're just going to be waiting now for the timer to tick down. Obviously, the driver's just waiting patiently. We've got no rain expected in accordance to my telemetry system, so we are expecting a clear Q1, but we had a clear Q1 yesterday. Same couldn't be said for Q2 and Q3, however. So hold on to your hats, folks, as we now hear the engine start to rev. And there is some activity in the pit lane. And an Alpine is making its way through. We also have an AlphaTauri making its way down the straight as well. Boza on his debut appearance this season in this championship, of course, did not feature yesterday, stepping in tonight for Seb, who unfortunately couldn't be with us on this occasion. And someone who is certainly going to look to try and rise to the occasion this time at Austria, as he now makes the climb up through towards the Remus corner at turn 3. Again, despite it being only an outlap, he needs to try and compose himself, get ready for the fast runs, because it can be over in the blink of an eye. And getting out of that bottom 5, it's obviously what's imperative. Isn't that right, Ben?
Yeah, it is. And we are starting to see those drivers. We've got some on the Inters doing their stock standard interlap to make sure they get a delta, so they understand where they're losing or gaining time based off of that tyre, because they don't want to be using that soft tyre. But I can see the Simo's doing what I said earlier, and he's actually on the medium. So I'd like to see his pace, considering he was actually quite strong for a reserve driver last night. So we'll see what they can do. Obviously, we're going to have Bozo as the first car that's going to be starting a lap on soft tyres. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, heading down now and towards the Jochen curve to get us underway here in Q1. 15 minutes to go. Only a couple of minutes eaten into in this session. And he'll make his way down the straight. Air temperature at 20 degrees. Track temperature at a perfect 29 degrees as well. We're working with optimal temperatures here in this Q1 session as Boza now makes his way through turn 1. Let's ride on board here with a man stepping in for the first time tonight, as he now makes the climb up, heading through towards Remus. You just see the cars just beckoning out the way, obviously just not wanting to hamper the lap, but at the same time not put themselves in jeopardy of perhaps being taken out of the session. Back on the throttle again for Boza, 6th gear. Will quickly become 7th. Will also touch 8th as well as he makes his way down the hill in towards this next right-hander as well. Keeping it tight and pinned to the inside, as we said. Obviously just to maximise your apex speed and carry it through the corner as he now makes his way through the double left-handers of the Roche and Verth curves. Taking all the curve on exit as well. He's going to try and hunt the Tiger line down the inside and embrace the segment. Ran a little wide, you could argue, but doing exceptionally well to hold on to the car. He's now going to take a deep descent down through this next right-hander, Jochen curve now, and through the final corner at Red Bull Mobile. Getting things underway. Jack Humphries goes fastest with a 107.179. Bags Liddell, though, going fastest in the second sector. Boza immediately to the top, though. 2.5 seconds faster than Jack Humphries. Bags Liddell comes across the line and sets a 104.107. That's a fabulous lap from him as well. Marcus Costa going 3rd fastest. I can tell you, though, we have got some movements from Ryan Bell in behind, who's gone purple in the first 2 sectors. 16.060 in sector 1, 28.3 in sector 2. This will surely be enough to go to the top, and it is. A 103.590 faster than Bags Liddell by half a second. But Luke Rochford immediately jumps into P2, and he's just 3.5 tenths away.
Yeah, and we like I said before, we are seeing those drivers, Marcus Costa and Jack Humphries, on that Inter, so their time isn't very representative. And Simo setting a 105.2 on the medium, and I think Leo got a bit impeded, so he set a 114.8 there. But we still have half the field in the pit lane, so they're not opting to come out any earlier in the first 5 minutes here, Q1.
Yeah, well, here is yesterday's race winner, Al Karudin. Obviously, we heard about his restaurant yesterday, Malaysian food that he had to offer. Highly recommend you take a trip to Melbourne to check that out, folks, as he now makes his way around the final corner. It's a Red Bull Mobile curve in a Red Bull, looking to join Ryan Bell up at the top of the timing screen. Only enough for 9th fastest, though. But we are seeing a purple first sector from G-Force Leo. The man we all thought was somebody else. He is indeed stepping in again. Of course, Leo featured yesterday in the McLaren. He's back here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, currently 10th fastest. He set a purple first sector despite already setting a lap. Obviously not necessarily representative. He's going to try and in this one this time around. He set a 28.7 in sector 2, which is faster than the Simo, who currently sits in P6. Here he comes, 3rd fastest there from G-Force Leo. And just behind Luke Rochford as well, and just under half a second off the pace of Ryan Bell.
Yeah, and we had a little discussion about this prior to tonight, and I've seen Ryan Bell set a 102.7 banker, so he's still got a lot of pace to does Ryan Bell. And also Luke Roch's stepping in tonight for the Haas crew, and he's in second with a 103.9. So very good showing from the reserve driver.
Yeah.
As well as Bags Liddell, 104.1, another reserve driver. So very good times.
Fantastic display, 104.107 for Bags Liddell, currently fourth fastest. Of course, this being his first appearance of the season in this Oceania Invitational F1 Championship. We've now got Oscar King heading up the hill too, as he now encroaches onto turn 3 and heading out now of the Remus corner. He's going to look to light things up. Of course, he's got DRS, and he's got a little bit of a helping hand as well, a little bit of traffic that can very easily help out a little bit of slipstream, some extra pace, and sets a 16.018 in the first sector, which is actually faster than Ryan Bell's first sector time. Now he needs to try and go purple in sector 2 and 3. 28.3 in the middle sector to beat, as he now rounds the Roche and Wirth curves. In the Ferrari, does go fastest as well in sector 2. So a great middle sector for Oscar King. It is P1 worthy at this stage. Makes his way down through the Jochen curve in the Scuderia Ferrari. The prancing horse looking to prance its way to the top early on in this session with 10.5 minutes to go. He does as well. A purple third sector grants him a 103.430, which is just over 1.5 tenths of a second faster than Ryan Bell in second. That's a fantastic lap from Oscar King.
Yeah, it is. He's continuing his form on from last night, is Oscar King, and I don't doubt that we'll see him in Q3, but that is a very good competitive lap time by himself and also Ryan Bell, as we've mentioned before. They are pretty clear of P3, but who knows, half the grid still have not set a lap, so we don't know what the average lap time is going to be for this session.
Yeah, fantastic lap for Oscar King. We do have a couple of other cars now out on outlap. Zachary Smith, who was involved in that moment of carnage between himself and obviously Jack Humphreys. That was in Q3 when both of them were trying to lay down their final laps, and unfortunately both were getting impeded. Speaking of Jack Humphreys, he's just gone purple in the first sector as well. He's done a 15.978 as we now watch Zachary Smith make his way through the middle sector as well. He's just done a 28.6 in sector 2, which is comparable with Bags Liddell in 5th place. So not a bad opening sector. In fact, that first sector is actually better than Ryan Bell's first sector as well. So this could be a great lap here for Zachary Smith up towards the line. Enough to go third fastest. Jack Humphreys also coming up now towards the line and going on at a 2.3 second improvement. And he goes fastest as well. Goes 103.328. A tenth of a second faster than Oscar King. Ryan Bell now relegated to third place with two Haas's occupying 4th and 5th. Zachary Smith impressing on his previous lap.
Yeah, the top 3 are looking pretty comfortable at the moment. We're starting to see more drivers that haven't put those times in, and we're starting to see everyone's going in under that 104 flat, as Jacob Connier set a 103.99, and I believe T-Max also 103.987. So it's pretty close there. We've got 3 drivers in the 103.9s.
Yeah, Gregory Prisbill setting a 16.058 in that first sector as well. I think Jack Humphreys will be pleased with that. Obviously, yesterday, whilst he was having really outstanding second sectors, the first sector would catch up with him time and time again and would cause him no end of issues. Obviously, in that hunt for P1, he had the pace everywhere else. It just seemed like the first sector was letting him down, as Gregory Prisbill sets a lap that sends him 4th fastest, a 103.740. That's pretty good, but not good enough to touch the top spot. Oscar King retiring from the session. That's a statement of, obviously, confidence from him. Incidentally, guys, if you want to know where the purple sectors currently sit, Jack Humphreys owns the purple sector in sector 1 and 3, with Oscar King holding on to the purple sector 2 time at this stage. Plenty of other cars, though, making their way through. Jordan Arnold, who unfortunately has just invalidated his run. Now, that's not ideal. Now, we've got a few cars that have yet to set times, and Shubman Path, we're just about to say he hasn't set one yet. He's just gone 12 fastest. Jordan Arnold now crossing the line. He's going to have to find something from somewhere. And BPV8 as well, who didn't set a time in the opening stage, the opening session yesterday. He's also in the pits. Now, what is going on with BPV8? What is the mentality behind not setting that lap?
All right, so I can explain this to the people at home, because last night was questionable, but he genuinely does this. He does not like doing qualifying. He's very against doing qualifying because he likes to run a lower downforce setup. And I don't know why he just doesn't qualify and go to like 15th, because that's 5 free places. However, he doesn't like doing qualifying. It's got nothing to do with like mentality or anything. It's more or less he just doesn't do it. He just doesn't want to do it. Like that's just how it is. I don't really know how else to explain it. But yeah, that's just him.
Incredible. High science comes into this, obviously, as far as BPV8 is down at the very bottom. So he's got a lot of work to do when we go racing later on. Jordan Arnold, though, who's yet to set a lap, he's coming into the pit, so he's going to have to reassess that first sector time way off where he needs it to be as well. 15.9 Jack Humphrey set in that first sector. 17.7 here for Jordan Arnold in that first sector. Certainly wasn't going to be comparable by any means. Marcus Costa, who is right on the bubble of elimination. Of course, he is currently in elimination territory now. Al Karudin also in elimination territory, but he quickly changes the game as he goes 9th fastest. Marcus Costa goes 7th fastest as well. So that drops Matt Pleavy into the bottom, as does Boza on his debut here this season. Riley Mackay as well, making his way out on track, so he's out on an outlap. He needs to try and register a time. Of course, Riley's pace was not too far off, and with the man representing TF10, you'd expect a lot from his stature, and certainly doesn't want to get evicted very early into qualifying. So needs to nail in a lap now before the timer ticks below the 5-minute mark, because we are now 5 minutes to go in this session. So it's nut cutting time. The pressure is on those in the bottom 5.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And just quietly, Kieran Potter did a 1:03.5 and he's put himself into P3. He did it about probably about 3 minutes ago, and he's just quietly snuck himself up there into P3 on the same level as Ryan Bell. So definitely putting a lot more pressure on the guys outside of that elimination zone. Like I said before, the 1:04 flat. You got to be doing that lap time, otherwise you're going to be at risk of going out this session or even next session as well. So that's kind of plus or minus 0.2 on that 1:04 flat.
Well, let me tell you this. This is a scenario where Riley Mackay needs to try and bring his best. Middle sector now. First sector is decent. 16.023. But I can tell you this, he hasn't got the purple sector because Zachary Smith has it at this stage. He's just set a 15.973, which is only a mere 5 thousandths of a second faster than Jack Humphreys. Absolutely outrageous. Riley Mackay, though, making his way through the final sector. What's he going to issue on this occasion? Looking to try and bring his McLaren to the forefront. Can he get away from the bottom 5? 4th fastest. That's sensational. Zachary Smith, who went purple in the first sector of 15.973, a 28.576 is okay in sector 2, but 0.2 off the pace of Jack Humphreys. Comes across the line now. Is it an improvement? No. I think that might be the case that he lost so much time in that final sector. It made sure that he wasn't going to improve necessarily that time around, but has set the purple first sector. And drama for Boza and also Jordan Arnold, both invalidating their previous laps. Bear in mind, they're on the cusp of elimination, and we've only got 3 minutes and 20 to go.
Yeah, even Zach Smith there, improving by a 10th, still didn't go anywhere because he was on that 1:03.9 sitting there with Luke Rochford and Marcus Costa. So Marcus Costa's, there you go, proving a statement. 1:03.9 is the time to beat in P8 there. So like I said before, that 1:04, a flat 1:04.2 is going to be that dropout point. They've got to be careful, these drivers.
They do. It's getting really dramatic. The timer is ticking down. It's running out. Zachary Smith, who I think could be pleased, with that previous run. He doesn't have a lot to worry about. Certainly Marcus Costa's already retired and obviously currently sat behind him. But if you're this man, BSC Boza, you're obviously going to be fretting just a little bit as he now makes his way through the final sector. He invalidated this run once again as well, as he now looks to get started again this time around. These tyres are going to be exceptionally worn, and trying to hook up a special lap here is going to be that much harder, obviously in comparison to those that have already set laps at this stage. Jordan Arnold has left the pit lane. He's looking to register a time on the board. Bags Liddell is out there too. Shubman Path, the Simo. So there's quite a lot of traffic out there for Boza to deal with, and that is going to be certainly a major issue as far as he's concerned. He's making his way now down through towards Slosh Gold. 18th place at this point with a 1:04.750 registered as his best time. which is considerably off the pace, nearly 1.5 seconds away from Jack Humphreys right at the very top. If he wants to even think about safety, he needs to find at least another 0.6 of a second to get himself into the top 15. Though that's going to be extremely tough, given the fact that we do have a very high collective of quality drivers competing in this championship. Boza now heading down through the Jochenring curve. He's got Red Bull Mobile coming up next. The AlphaTauri now looks to sprint at what you could consider its home track as it comes towards the line. And again, certainly an invalidation for VSC Boza. Really struggling with that final sector, and he's losing it time and time again. And at this point, with 2 laps accrued on these tyres, he's already used 2 different compounds, which has certainly set him back already. And not only that, 2 laps on your second compound. It's not ideal at all.
No, they're definitely going to be rubbish tyres to take into the race, but with that kind of pace and time left in the session, I think that's done for Boza. And obviously BP V8's doing his not quali thing, so that's going to be your first 2 drivers out. So it's a matter of what lap can Jordan set, and he's actually invalidated. I don't know if he can get around in time. Jordan Arnold, and he hasn't even set a time.
He's 40 seconds away now from the checkered flag. The Simo crosses the line now and finds 0.004 of a second improvement. Gregory Prisbill has just retired from the session, so the Simo, despite finding 0.004 on that previous lap, still remains in P16. Shubman Path looking to try and hold on to that P15 spot so he can progress into Q2, but he's also on a lap and he's also improving. This could be a very, very good lap indeed for Shubman Path and relegate potentially Bags Liddell right on the bubble of elimination. And obviously, as more and more cars essentially don't field proper laps as Boza retires from the session, so that confirms that he won't be making it through to Q2. BPV8, another one that won't be making it through as the timer ticks to 0. We're into stoppage time here in Q1 now. Shubman Path digging deep, personal best in the first and second sector, comes up towards the line, goes 13th fastest. He relegates Bags Liddell now down into 15th place, and he's right on the cusp of potentially losing that spot, but nobody in the bottom 5 is improving whatsoever. Jordan Arnold is on a lap. He's done what looks to be a 16.051 in the first sector, which is a personal improvement. So this is a huge lap for Jordan Arnold, and this first sector is comparable with Gregory Prisbill, who currently sits in 6th place. Can he dig this one out? He's now making his way through the Rochenwerth curve in the Mercedes-powered Williams and needs to try and muster in every little bit of strength he can muster, but he's invalidated! An invalidation for Jordan Arnold. He will not be making it through to Q2, despite the promising start to the lap. He's just dumped himself out of qualifying. He will not progress to the second qualifying session.
Oh, that is so unfortunate for Jordan Arnold. I actually don't know how Shubman Path didn't invalidate his lap coming out of turn 10, because he definitely was outside of the white lines. He must have just been on him, but that is a very, very intense qualifying session from the bottom part there. But it's so close in the top 10, top 13, top 12, all under 104.
Yeah, incredible. 103.328, the fastest lap set by Jack Humphreys. Oscar King, Kieran Potter, Riley McKay, Ryan Bell, Gregory Prisbill, Akarudin, Zachary Smith, Marcus Costa, Luke Rochford, Thomas McInnes, Jacob Conius, Shubman Path, GeForce Leo, and Bags Liddell. They go through to Q2. Unfortunately, we lose Matt Plevey, the Simo, Boza, Jordan Arnold, and BPV8. They will not be progressing after, obviously, BP not even setting a lap throughout the session. But definitely the story here at this stage, Ben, has been the invalidations. Obviously, those that were in the bottom 5 looking to try and get out. I think, obviously, the most heartbroken, of the bunch is probably Jordan Arnold. I think he had a great chance. Was actually right on Gregory Prisbill's first sector time. And obviously, we know that Gregory was P6 in that session as well. He's bound to be disappointed. Again, it's that Jochenring corner. If you tread over that white line, you're going to lose out. And unfortunately, he's been caught out.
Yeah, he has. And like we saw in real life F1, I'm pretty sure, within the qualifying session that they did in real life, I think there was over 81 laps deleted. So tonight we're going to see something pretty similar. We've obviously seen Jordan Arnold invalidate 3 laps in a row. He had Boza invalidate 2 laps. So there's going to be a lot of drivers. It's going to be crucial to make sure you're staying within the white lines. So
yeah, definitely.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I can confirm, folks, that no rain expected for the second session of qualifying. So I think that's a relief, for many, certainly the drivers, as we now see them make their way out onto the track. not wasting any time whatsoever. Jack Humphreys is one of the first to leave, and the man who went fastest in the first session of qualifying and did so brilliantly as well. I mentioned about the redemption arc in terms of what happened yesterday. Remember Q3 when he came together with Zachary Smith, and it certainly was a damning moment for him. What could have been essentially a front row seat at the start of the race became a spot in P8. But he did go on to finish the race in P7, despite the hardships on the opening lap, which sent him to the back. He was the first car to pit. He had to go on a very aggressive medium tyre strategy. He basically boxed onto the mediums at the very start of the race and took them all the way to the end and managed to graft and grind his way out a top 10 place. And the very fact that he was able to gain a place on where he started was absolutely unbelievable, Ben.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is him ending up in the top 10, I'm pretty sure he did, in that race was exceptional. Like, him with no... It's obviously we got running esports settings, no safety car. So it's an acceptable drive from him, and we're yet to see the best of him in this season.
Yeah, no, I think we'll find him certainly... I think he might have actually boxed twice, which makes it even crazier. So there we have it. You know, incredible run from Jack Humphreys yesterday, but just underlines how good he really is. And now makes his way up through towards the Remus corner. He's going to have a little bit of traffic in front of him, though, because there are drivers making their way out on outlaps. Now, this is something that, you know, obviously does complicate matters for some drivers, because some might choose to leave it a little later, others don't, as Jack Humphreys now makes his way down through towards this back straight and in towards the Slosh Gold section in the Alpine. Immediately sets a purple first sector, a 59.69 to get us underway, and no one can touch that as such, though I will say Riley McKay gets close. He's done a 16.030, and Oscar King sets a 16.006, which is a fantastic first sector time. In fact, that's the second fastest first sector time. Luke Rochford has invalidated his opening run, so that's less than ideal. A 28.570 was purple in the second sector. He's just had that stolen away by Oscar King as well, so Oscar King not coming here to mess around. Jack Humphreys goes to the top, 103.697. Now let's take a look at where Oscar King goes, because obviously he's looking to try and notch himself to the top as well. Cross the line, does go fastest at 103.415, just under 0.3 of a second away, well, higher than Jack Humphreys.
Yeah, he's gone bang, hasn't he, with 103.4, and I believe these boys have come out really early because they're using that session 1 soft tyre, so they're just on the old softs at the moment, and the fact that they're doing improving laps on what they did in the first session, especially for Oscar King, is just speaking of how good these drivers are.
Well, GeForce Leo has had an uncomfortable start. He spun the car through Jochenrink curve, just getting on the curb there. What is useful, though, is that he spun into the pit lane, so did not sustain damage. Instead, the game gave him a helping hand, said, go back to the pit box, sir. Go and get yourself a new, fresh set of boots and head out again once you get back out. Gregory Prisbill setting a 16.306 in that first sector, and 28.402 in sector 2 as he now makes his way down towards the final corner. Mercedes now powers its way down the straight, crosses the line, and will go fifth fastest to 103.828. Remember, though, these will be the used tyres at the very start. One thing about Gregory Prisbill, he set a 19.119, which is certainly good value for a potential purple third sector. So an impressive showing here from Prisbill, despite being on that used compound, because we will see the fresh tyres make their way out later on. So you can bet your bottom dollar, folks, that while we're seeing the lap times come through, it's going to be a vastly different picture when we make our way through the latter stages of Q2.
Yeah, exactly right. And you've got to make sure, like, because Gregory Prisbill yesterday, it was towards the top end of the field. And tonight we're obviously seeing a different shuffling order on a different track. It's a completely different track as it is to Spa-Francorchamps, as Schumann Path has just had a massive moment coming through the first corner of Sector 3 there. But yeah, the boys tonight have seriously got to be on their A game, like we've been speaking before. They've got to be on their finest margins, as Schumann Path sets a 104.3. So obviously these guys are probably all on that old soft tyre, so may see some new soft tyre runs coming out, as we know how strong the newer tyre is on this game.
Well, I tell you what, we're seeing cars now venture out onto their outlaps. Riley McKay and G-Force Leo making it a two-part McLaren visit out on track. And speaking of Riley McKay, he would have come to blows with this man as well, Kieran Potter, who now makes his way out on his fast lap. Obviously, one of the unsung heroes of yesterday. It could have gone his way. He was on a strategy that would have no doubt granted him a chance of winning yesterday's race at Spa. And I happen to know that obviously he wasn't very happy with how it all planned out towards the very end. Obviously came to blows with Riley McKay, and it kind of ended in tears for both of them, though Kieran Potter had a lot more to lose in that stage. Gets the rear tyres though, spinning on the curb, exiting out of Slosh Gold, heads through the Roshenwerth curve, and will look to light things up in the mean green Aston Martin as he heads through now the left-hander in towards the right. Slight slalom through this section, and then a downhill right, heading through the Jochen Rindt curve. We'll look to hook this one up now as he looks to now becking his way down through towards the Red Bull Mobile curve, put back to the floor again as he looks to enlist yet another time. Where's this going to put him? Second fastest. Good lap there from Kieran Potter, and actually stole the purple third sector with a 19.118, which is a super one as well. I mean, looking at Sector 2, he mainly lost out in Sector 2. He was nearly 2/10 away from Oscar King's pace in that sector, but he was faster than Oscar King in the first sector. So a great display from Kieran Potter, and no doubt they're going to be ushering in the fresh sets of tyres. One man who is improving though, it's him again. It's Riley McKay. Obviously he's been battling with Kieran Potter back at Spa. He's battling with him again, but he invalidates coming out of Slosh Gold, and he had a purple first sector as well, Ben.
Yeah, that's very rough there from Riley. Obviously, he's pushing all he can on this tyre. I believe he'd be onto his next set of brand new soft tyres as I'm looking at the tyre statistics at the moment. He's on 0 laps, so that's a brand new set of softs wasted in that first sector.
Yeah,
there's Riley McKay. So
G-Force,
we'll see what he can do.
G-Force Leo was just about to say gone 8th fastest, and that's Riley McKay's teammate as well. Many more cars making their way. Now, Luke Rochford is another one to watch. He's just set an opening sector personal best 16.029, and actually not too bad. That's in the mix. He's not too far off the top time set by Oscar King. He's also in the mix with the likes of Zachary Smith as well, and probably not too far away from Kieran Potter at this stage either, as he now makes his way through the Roshenwerth curve and puts his foot to the floor again, coming through towards the latter sectors as well, but losing time in that middle sector. He's only set a 28.548. Well, saying that, it is a better lap. It certainly is a better lap at this stage. He has gone green. He's set a personal best now in Sector 2. Needs a huge Sector 3 in order to cook. As he now crosses the line, he goes 8th fastest. Just could not quite hook it up to where he wants it. But Jack Humphreys back out on track. He's just gone purple in the first sector with a 15.962. 4 thousandths improvement on where he was before. It doesn't matter by how much. All that matters is that he's purple. And he's purple again in Sector 2. A stellar showing for the man, all dressed in blue, in an Alpine. He's going to look to try and cross the line in, hopefully, to ascendancy ahead of Oscar King as he now makes his way through the final corner as well. This could very easily plateau the momentum, bringing it through to Q3. Goes fastest, Jack Humphreys, with a 103.309. Just over a 10th of a second faster than Oscar King. He's laying down the benchmark and asking questions of the rest of this grid.
That is an absolute stellar time from Jack Humphreys, and obviously on the new soft tyre, so that would be his second soft tyre that he's using this session. But interestingly enough, from before with Luke Rochford setting that 103.7, there's 5 drivers on a 103.7, so he's missing out on 5th place by 0.04 of a second.
Well, I can tell you this, we've got 5 minutes and 20 until the end of this session. There is still time for some late drama, and we had late drama yesterday. We could yet have late drama again today, but Jack Humphreys setting the benchmark here in Q2. And like I said, he is on a redemption arc, looking to try and find, well, certainly the places that he lost yesterday. No doubt he would have been challenging for the top points, but nevertheless got points yesterday after a valiant recovery drive. And now coming into the pits now to bring an end to what has been a very good session for him. He might even choose to retire. He does. He retires from the session. So there we have, speak of the devil, retiring from the session, and will not be partaking in the rest of this qualifying. So obviously just saving the tyres. No need to wear them. And He'll head through into Q3 in first place. So a great showing from Jack Humphreys as Tom McInnes makes his way through the final part of the sector. Unfortunately, not setting any improvements in the first and second sector, just dragging the car around slowly. There are a couple of other cars as well looking to improve as well. Gregory Prisbill, who just blasted past him, is going to look to try and cross the line. He set personal best in the first and second sector, goes third fastest. Great showing for Gregory Prisbill. Luke Rochford now reduced to 10th fastest. He's in the pits and right on the bubble of elimination. Bottom 5 are evicted at the end of this session. Remember, folks, it will only be the top 10 heading into the shootout in Q3. And Riley McKay is out on track and looking to try and muster in something, and needs to if he wants to stay in qualifying, Ben.
Yeah, he's absolutely got to. But I think more of a issue here is Ryan Bell has not even set a lap.
Oh.
And he's got to still set a lap here as Ryan Bell. This is one of his best circuits, so he's going for it now. So this will be probably his one and only run, unless he's got enough fuel to make it 2 laps. And Riley McKay has gone fastest, 103.2, as I've mentioned. That is a stellar lap.
He was purple in the first and third sectors. That is absolutely blistering. A 15.937 in sector 1 and 19.050 in sector 3. Granted in purple in both the first and third sectors. Riley McKay has toppled Jack Humphreys. 29 thousandths the difference between Ps 1 and 2. The gap's certainly thinner than a fly's eyelash. Absolutely tremendous. Now, Ryan Bell at the bottom. Like you so rightly say, Ben, it's all down to him now. It's just between him and the circuit. If he does not complete a lap now, with 2 minutes and 40 to go, he's going to be in deep trouble.
Yeah, he did set a 15.9 in the first sector, so he's on par with the guys in the top 5. So we'll see what he can do here. Coming through turn 10 now, I've got to make sure he doesn't invalidate. Takes that very nice and easy, does Ryan Bell. Comes through and sets a 103.37. Puts himself in a very safe, comfy spot, P3 there.
That is brilliant.
Driver.
Brilliant for Ryan Bell. Absolutely fantastic. Clutch lap that he needed right to the very end. And brings the Red Bull back to the top. Actually impressed yesterday as well, and definitely looked very strong, along with his teammate as well, Al Karudin, who would eventually win the race. We just saw him actually going past his teammate as well. But yeah, super lap from Ryan Bell, and third fastest here on the table. There are numerous cars now out on outlap. Zachary Smith is out on a fast run, looking to try and plumb in an improvement this time around. His previous lap being a 103.642. And just over 3.5 tenths of a second off the pace of Riley McKay at the top. Incredible to note that the top 3 are all within the same tenth of a second, which is absolutely dramatic. You look down at P3, Ryan Bell, 9 hundredths away from the top time. Jack Humphreys, 29 thousandths away from Riley McKay. And we're now seeing, obviously, the improvements come in. I can tell you that Marcus Costa has improved and is actually near enough match. He's only just outside by 1,000th in the first sector of Riley McKay. So keep your eyes peeled, as now we see an invalidation for Zachary Smith. We'll pan across, though, to Marcus Costa. 61 thousandths improvement already off his own personal best. A 16.031, as we said in the first sector, looks very good as well. Jacob Konies has just set a 16.051 in the first sector as well. So we're seeing more and more times coming, cascading in, shall we say. 16.012 from Shubman Parth in Sector 1. It's starting to build up. We've got the crescendo here at the end of Q2 starting to come upon us. A 28.4 in the middle sector. An invalidation for Marcus Costa. Now that could be very costly, because we've got Shubman Parth in the bottom and many drivers looking to improve that are in the bottom 5.
He was on for a 103.5 then, Marcus, and that would have put him in P7 quite nice and safe there. But as you can see, all drivers except for the top 3 are currently out on track looking to improve.
Yeah, top 3 have all retired now. Riley McKay, Jack Humphreys, Ryan Bell, not concerned now with what's going to happen. They think they're safe, and I think they have every right to be. Shubman Parth is looking to improve. Personal best in the first 2 sectors. Comes up towards the line. Can't improve enough. 14th fastest, and now with a second now that has ticked down, we're into stoppage time here in Q2. So it's looking like Shubman Parth is out of qualifying. Luke Rochford is trying to nip and tuck at anything he can. Purple first sector for Thomas McInnes. It's kicking off here at the very end here. And Luke Rochford looking for safety. He's invalidated the session. Incredible. He's invalidated that final lap. So that pretty much concludes his qualifying session here tonight. Thomas McInnes currently sat in 11th place. Purple first sector for McInnes at 15.928 to light things up in sector 1. Oscar King goes fastest with a 103.235. A sensational lap that brings him to the top. The Scuderia on top again. Thomas McInnes, he's invalidated. Incredible, he threw away a purple first sector and he's invalidated his final run in Q2 that could have granted him potential safety.
Would have done so too, because he improved by 300ths of a second, which would have actually put him into P10. So the finest of margins, as you can see, from 12th to 10th, all within 400ths of a second. So it's all about that little bit of time.
Absolutely. Well, Thomas McInnes is going to be absolutely downtrodden, but Oscar King, what a lap. A 103.236 has just granted him P1 here in Q2. What a dramatic session. And I tell you what, we're looking forward now to Q3. I can tell you that. But let's take you through the Q2 order. Oscar King is your fastest man. 45 thousandths faster than Riley McKay in second place. We got Jack Humphreys in third, Ryan Bell in fourth, Kieran Potter in fifth, Gregory Prisbill, Al Karudin, Zachary Smith, Jacob Conius, Marcus Costa. It's a who's who from yesterday's race in the top 10. Thomas McInnes unfortunately out after setting that purple first sector. What could have been Thomas McInnes? Luke Rochford as well, also staring defeat in the face in that session with Bags Liddell, Shubman Path and G-Force Leo all getting evicted. Again, it's the invalidations that have crept in that have cost these drivers from making it into Q3. But you've got to give credit where credit's due here as well, Ben. That clutch lap from Oscar King came out of absolutely nowhere. None of us expected it, but he delivered. And that's what's important. And that's twice now he's done that.
Yeah, it's twice out of the blue. Oscar King is proving us all wrong that he is actually in the most form here. As I was saying before, Ryan Bell's got really good form around here. Kieran Potter's trying to get his redemption through. So is Marcus Costa because he qualified quite low yesterday. But, you know, we've got the 10 fastest drivers left of today. And unfortunately, those drivers that went outside of the white lines aren't the fastest drivers of tonight. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see if Al Karudin can put himself in that top 4 and give himself a chance at the win again.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here to find out now. We're going to be moving on to Q3, folks. And obviously, we're going to keep our eyes peeled because obviously that final sector is so imperative to get right. I want to ask you guys in the chat as well, because this is the point in time where we get you guys involved, because we want to hear from you. Who do you think's taking pole? I want to see that live chat lit up with every single one of you giving us your predictions for the start of the next session. So get involved. We'll read out some of the comments as well. Here are your final 10. The 10 in the shootout. Riley McKay, Oscar King, Jacob Conius, Jack Humphreys, Zachary Smith, Marcus Costa, Gregory Prisbill, Kieran Potter, Ryan Bell, Nal Karudin. Let us know who you think's getting pole. Dano says Prince. Ecam saying Blake. We've got, who else have we got? Nick Mann saying Karma for pole. Prince says Urban Scyther. What else have we got here? Blake Will says Phillies. Absolutely incredible. Oscar King is also getting some nods as well from Dunno, Matty as well. Jack, Indy the Cat is going for Jack. We've got Oscar King as well for Websy as well. Incredible. Jack Humphreys' favourite for pole, paying $1.65 from 40. There we have it. Incredible. Those are your odds, folks. Get on board. Where do you see it going, Ben? Where's your prediction?
Well, as a betting man, you base yourself off past history. So Oscar King topping both sessions. You'd expect him to top this next session as he starts his first lap now. But really, honestly, it could be anyone that was in the top 4 of the previous session. So I would love to see where this is going, considering how close it's been.
Well, it's going to be tight. And I can tell you, they're already swapping the purple sectors. Guess who's got the purple sector in Sector 1, Ben?
Who?
It's
Oscar King.
It's Oscar King. He's purple again in the first sector. 15.9 for it. Well, he was. Jack Humphreys has just turned up and has snatched it away from him. Are we going to have to start writing the storyline now that there's going to be fisticuffs between Oscar King and Jack Humphreys, because he's getting close between those two? Forget I said anything. Riley McKay has just gone purple in the first sector. We've got Kieran Potter now purple in the second sector. He's going to be the first man to cross the line and register a fast run at this point. In the Aston Martin, let's see what he sets. A 103.463 to kick us off, though we have got faster times coming through. Oscar King has just taken the purple second sector. Jack Humphreys has just stolen that privilege as well. Oscar King up towards the line, goes fastest with a 103.270. In comes Jack Humphreys. Of course, the man who has obviously set blinding laps, but Oscar King has since trumped him. Did so in the last occasion. Jack Humphreys gets him back with a 103.089, and if that's not a statement, I don't know what is. That is nearly two. Well, it's a tenth and a half difference. Well, it was a tenth and a half difference. Ryan McKay's just notched in a lap. That is 87 thousandths off the pace of Jack Humphreys, but he has gone nearly 2 tenths faster than Oscar King in that first sector. But Riley McKay, impressive lap again, purple in the first sector as well.
Yeah, we're starting to sniff that 102 region that we get when the track improves, obviously, when you're coming up into the last qualifying session here, 12-minute qualifying session. Seeing a lot of drivers come out on new soft tyres. So I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if they've run the softer setup on the tyre screen to try and get the maximum amount of runs in for this session. I'm unsure if you have the telemetry on whether it's going to be for the main race.
I'm not sure on that, to be honest. One thing I could tell you about the weather at this point is that we're not going to get any rain. So there you go. That's some good news for you.
Better than last night.
Yeah, better than last night. We haven't had a single drop through the entirety of qualifying, so that's a positive. But at the same time, there's other matters to consider here at this point. It's obviously the grid seems to have got wise to the pace here in this race. I would argue, looking at these laps today here, Ben, that we're looking at something far closer than what we saw last night in a qualifying sense. And I think we're going to be in for one hellacious shootout later on. And not only that, I think when the race comes in, there's going to be quite a few drivers that chance their arm heading up through towards turn 3. I think, from a viewer standpoint, everyone's going to be in for a real treat.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, especially when you're setting them up into turn 1 to navigate that turn 3 move, especially trying to push them to the inside for turn 1 so that you can go get the switch back to come back towards turn 3, or even set them up at turn 3 for turn 4. So you got your 3 DRS zones at this track, so there's plenty of opportunity for overtaking. So I'm very, very excited for this race, but at the moment we've got a very exciting qualifying session, and considering the minimum time is a 103.4, we'll see if they can knock into the 102s.
Yeah, tell you what, it's really starting to kick on here now. Al Karudin setting, as you'd expect, personal best in the first sector. This is his first flying lap. Bit of a rough time for Gregory Prisbill, who did go out to set a lap, but unfortunately invalidated his first run. Al Karudin goes 7th fastest. Marcus Costa also out on a lap and is also finding improvements. Goes 7th fastest himself as well. Drops Al Karudin down to 8th place. There we have it. The first run's in the bag. Zachary Smith also out on an out lap as well. He's going to be one of the last drivers to set an initial lap. But the only driver missing out, ordinarily out of the first runs, is Gregory Prisbill. Obviously, invalidating that first run isn't ideal. But nevertheless, obviously, very good showing by all those up in the sharp end. Obviously, Jack Humphreys with a purple second sector. I can tell you 3 drivers each own a purple sector around this track. Jack Humphreys has the second sector, and we have Riley McKay with the first sector, and Oscar King, yes, you guessed it, third sector. So there you have it. He's now back out again on another fast lap. A little out of kilter, though, you would say, Ben, because usually they would do 2 runs here in Q3. Oscar King choosing to go out very early. Now, the one danger he does have is if everyone else comes out later on, he might encounter drivers on their out laps when they come out for their final runs.
Yeah, that is very true, considering he's currently on a lap. So him and Kieran Potter are both out of sync, is the term that you'd use, and so is Ryan Bell. So we've got 3 drivers currently who are out of sync, well, 4 if you include Smithy, who's just crossed the line for a 103.3, but it's going to be quite interesting to see what these drivers' aim is here. They're trying to get 3 runs in, running on their older tyre for the first runs, as Kieran Potter's actually just invalidated coming across the line, and he would have done a 103.3, which would have put him into P4. So I'm quite intrigued to see what these guys are doing.
Yeah, he'll need to come in. And the other risk as well is that, okay, while they're using the same compounded tyres they set their opening laps on, that's all fine and well. But at the same time, you're eating away into session time that could probably be better utilised in other means. Just seeing again, Kieran Potter invalidating that first sector whilst he set a 16.158. So he was pushing. Unfortunately, though, a red first sector doesn't look good. Oscar King, incidentally, also invalidated his in-lap coming in. Not that it would concern him too much. I can tell you that Zachary Smith as well is not improving in the first 2 sectors, as isn't Ryan Bell. And Zachary Smith is a response coming into the pits, obviously as a result of all that. Just want to say a big shout out, everybody. We've blasted past 100 live viewers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And make sure as well you drop a follow to the channel. Stay up to date with everything here at the Oceania F1 Invitational. We really do appreciate all your support. Keep it coming. And don't forget to check out the socials as well. Not to mention the Discord channel, which Slammer will provide the links for in the live chat for you as well. Stay up to date here with the Oceania F1 Invitational. And also strap yourselves in and enjoy tonight, because we're going to be in for a real feast of racing action. Speedily coming into the pit lane, Ryan Bell, as he looks to try and get a new set of boots slapped onto the car. We cannot afford to waste too much time, because of course by the time you have set your car up for this final run now, you can definitely expect at this point, Ben, they're going to strap the new tyres on the car.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what you're saying. It's so good seeing so many familiar faces in the chat, like, because this is like our region, and being able to see a lot of familiar people in here. It's great to see all of you in here, all the support. Love all the stuff that you throw at me with with the mustache and everything. I love it. It's great. I love all the banter and everything. It's good to see everybody in here, but we're getting into that final 3 minutes, and it's unlike Spa, where you can only get those 1 or 2 runs in just because of how long the circuit is. But Austria being a short circuit, you can actually get those 3 or 4 runs in here. So I'm very, very excited for this last run here, especially from Jack Humphries, who could do a 102.
Yeah, people really are a fan of your best man outfit. It has to be said, Ben. It's really a fan favorite here tonight. So we give credit to the suit that Ben Connor is donning this evening. And also the moustache to match as well. I tell you what, you'd make Doctor Who jealous, mate. I'll give you that. It would be absolutely sensational. Incredible. Zachary Smith now out on an outlap as well, and will make his way through the double left-hander, heading through the Roche and Verth curves, and he'll be getting himself set for one final run. So this is now the moment where we see all the cars venture out onto the track. Let us know who's going to take pole, folks. We want to hear from you again. I'm going to ask you, Ben Connor, who's taking pole?
I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to stick with who I bet on it originally. We're going to go with Oscar King.
Oscar King is his pick.
Yourself? Who do you reckon?
It's too tight. I'm going to stay neutral. I'm a diplomat, so I'm going to sit right on my. I'm going to perch myself right on my fence. I appreciate, obviously, that not many people would necessarily appreciate that, but I, for my own sake, that's where I'm going to sit. But I think it's definitely going to be tight between those that we're currently seeing in the top 3. So they're definitely the ones to watch. But Zachary Smith heading through turn 3 on his final runs. And here at this point now with a minute to go. We've only got 1 minute left in the session, as he now makes his way through Slosh Gold here for the final time on a fast run. Can he enlist something better to position himself higher than P5? We'll have to wait and see. Rounds the next left-hander, heading through Roche and Verth curves. Plenty of other drivers as well, ushering in their first and, their final runs here at the end of Q3. Smith now, after coming into trouble with Jack Humphries yesterday in Q3 back at Spa-Francorchamps, and unfortunately losing out in Sector 2 despite setting a purple first sector, Zachary Smith, as he now crosses the line. No improvement, and that one will hurt. He'll have to go again now. He'll have to throw everything in on this occasion. He was purple in the first sector, and unfortunately losing out after a crucial error. Jack Humphries, though, not messing around. He's just gone purple in the second sector again. A 28.106 could bring him further and further into the 102s. We could be seeing it here for the first time in tonight's session. He didn't improve in the first sector, but Sector 2 he did. Can he do it in Sector 3? He does! He finds a 102.973, but there are more cars coming across the line, including Oscar King, who is improving with personal best in Sector 1 and 2. He's P4 at the moment. Is the King gonna be back? Not quite. Only second fastest. He can't quite muster enough to get through and past Jack Humphries this time around. Humphries has got him back after what he did to him in Q2.
That is a stellar lap from Jack Humphries. We finally see the 102.9, but God, he's so close, under a tenth between the top 2, and behind, Kieran Potter actually just goes and sets a 103.2 and improves on his lap time, puts himself into P5. But What a mega lap from these guys. And I think Marcus is just on his cooldown lap, so he's coming in at the moment. So that is our qualifying session done.
Special lap for this young man. And it's a big W for Intrepid Esports, who've got Jack Humphreys on their roster. The Aussie has done it again. He's so used to it. He is being a dominant force down under. I'm going to start calling him the Wonder from Down Under, because that's certainly what he is. He is absolutely sensational and is again underlining why he is and certainly holds a grand future in this series and also in F1 Esports as a whole as well. Oscar King, second fastest, was right on the cusp, had a huge chance to bring himself to the top like he did in Q2, but we have got one fascinating encounter to bring you later on. So make sure you strap yourselves in, folks. Let's take you through that top 10 as we saw it. Jack Humphreys on pole for the first time in the Oceania F1 series this season. Oscar King in second place. Ryan Bell, another impressive performance in third place. Riley McKay in fourth. Kieran Potter in fifth. Gregory Prisbill in sixth, with Zachary Smith seventh. Jacob Conius in eighth. Al Karudin in ninth. Marcus Costa rounds out the top 10. Absolutely stellar showing. But it's all about that 102 at this point, Ben. I mean, how illustrious was that? I mean, we look at great laps. Of course, we saw some yesterday at Spa. We know how fast this circuit really is. But when you've got someone like Jack Humphreys ushering in 102s, he went over a tenth faster than the man in P2, obviously Oscar King at this point. But that is a statement of intent, is it not? He had the difficulties from yesterday, and he's back again and ushering in a new wave of Delta. That was absolutely sensational tonight.
Yeah, it was. The 102.9. I was a bit worried when I saw Zachary Smith in the top 10 as well, considering the Spa session.
Well, he was purple, Zachary Smith, in that first sector on his final run.
He was.
Yeah, he missed out towards the very end, unfortunately. I think made a mistake in sector 2 and as a result dropped down. So I think he'll be a little disappointed, I think, off the back of that, because I think his time was actually comparable in many ways with Jack Humphreys' first sector in many ways. So, he could have very easily entered his name into the fray.
Yeah, he definitely could have. But I believe he may be running a lower downforce, because that 15.8 being, obviously, he had that representative lap time in the first sector, but he obviously lost it throughout that second and third sector. So he may be running a lot lower downforce. So obviously, he can go and set that purple per sector, but his setup isn't aligned with the guys that are setting the fastest time. So it's going to be quite interesting seeing him come through the field in the opening laps. Yeah,
it certainly will. I mean, obviously the start is going to be imperative. You look at turn one. Obviously it's a tremendous opportunity for many drivers. And if you carry the speed heading up through towards turn 3, there's chances for everybody in this field, obviously, to make some serious moves. You could argue that if you're starting on the front row, you are slightly in trouble, because obviously it's those who are behind that tend to benefit off the run out of turn 1. And if you can get yourself in the slip of the car in front of you, that can open the door heading up towards turn 3. Has Jack Humphreys got to be concerned about that at this stage?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, turn 1 is it's imperative for the middle order to make sure they navigate turn 1 and 3 on the first lap quite well, because if they don't, they set themselves up to get like what happened to Jack at Spa, where he got damage in the first corner, because turn 1 it's quite similar. It's quite a low speed corner in that first lap, but onwards obviously you get into more of a train and you're able to carry a lot more speed. But you've got to be very careful going into turn 1. Obviously, the people in the second row are going to be able to set themselves up very nicely to go into turn 3. But I think these drivers are quite intelligent enough to not go for that lap 1 move, I believe. And you don't win the race in the first corner, so we'll see what they can do.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, we've got to look at as well some of the sector times. Impressive run again from Riley McKay. Obviously trying to brush away the demons from yesterday as well. Coming up, against the contention that he did. Obviously, it wasn't ideal for him. And again, he could very well be tussling with Kieran Potter as well, because obviously Potter did exceptionally well in his qualifying. So those two are embraced again together in Ps 4 and 5. Can you see the fireworks kicking off again this time, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. I find it quite hard to focus because I got people messaging me and messaging in the chat.
What
It's
are they
quite
saying,
funny.
Ben? What are they saying?
Oh well, I'm actually getting personal messages.
Oh, really? Wow.
From some people.
Are they
No,
are
it's
they are they
great.
fit for broadcast or not?
No, I must say, but seriously, I'm loving all the support. This is great. I'm so. Oh, this is awesome. I love this so much. I love being able to put on a show, and it's great. But yeah, going back to the race, like I'm very, very interested to see the tire compounds that will be chosen. I saw last night a lot of people running that soft compound in the race, which I found very, very interesting, especially up at the top order, where the hard runner of Kieran Potter was actually staying with the soft runners. So I wonder if they take a lot of that information and bring it into tonight and say, hey, how about we run that hard tire as well to make sure we don't get put under as much pressure. So I'm quite intrigued.
Yeah. A lot of people in the chat want you to stand up. I want to know. I want to know that, I'm not sure what they're trying to. I'm not sure what they're trying to suggest here, right? But yeah. I mean, they just want to know. Let's see the boxes. This is not the show I signed up for, folks.
This is brilliant.
Outstanding.
Hang on. Hey, where's 40bet? Where's 40bet? Wait, 40bet. What's the odds that I'm wearing suit pants, tracksuit pants, or nothing? What are the odds? What are the odds, 40?
Goodness me. I bet they're tight. But I mean the odds, not the trousers. Sorry. Yeah, you guys didn't need that, did you? Sorry. Yeah. Listen, I'm quite impressed I came up with that because it is what time? It is 9:30 here in the UK, right? So let me just say, I'm quite proud. That's what 2 coffees gets you, Ben, right? And just to say.
Absolutely. It's my daily. There's breakfast of champions is a few coffees, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got it in one. But hey, look, let's go back. Let's go back to the subject in hand, and not your trousers. We're talking about the race we got coming up now shortly. Purple lap set by Jack Humphreys, 102.973. Now, Oscar King, where do we stand with him? Impressive yesterday. Impressed again today. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Q2 was his best. Q3 had his chance, but he wasn't far away. I'm liking the look of this young man. I think he can do something. Yeah,
absolutely. And we saw also Riley McKay. Like he's also an exceptional talent. Like I believe a lot of those drivers didn't. You got to weigh up your risk against where you are in the pecking order, and having, especially with Riley McKay being so far down the order and having to set that lap, I believe he could have actually gone a little bit quicker. And as well with Prince, obviously it's all or nothing, but if he loses that time on that lap, he starts P3, and that's where you can get in a bit of a jam into turn 1. So I think he may have taken a little bit of a safer route just to make sure he's on the front row. But yeah, Jack's had some very interesting races at Austria in the past, especially with overtaking into turn 1 and 3. So we'll have to see if that has improved a little bit. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people in the chat tonight will know what I'm referencing. I may be able to send it to you later, George, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, like I said before, with the tyre strategies and especially different setup strategies. Like as I said before, Zachary Smith probably running that lower wing, and Jack and Oscar King like to run a lot higher wing, and Zach's obviously starting. I think he's starting 7th, I believe it was. So we've got to look out for those kinds of drivers in the earlier stages. I do believe that the higher wing setups will be able to push them further along in the race. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, especially you got BPV8, who's also electric, starting at the back of the grid just because he can, like we said before. But yeah, it's going to be a good race.
I would say, going back to BPV8, obviously a strategy about not taking part in qualifying, it probably works better here at Red Bull Ring because it is such a a reduced lap in a sense in comparison to various other tracks. So, with it being so high speed as well, generally the cars stay together in Delta. Obviously, he's going to be hoping they do, just so he can get DRS and try and fight his way up through the field. But there's a chance BPV8 can do some things tonight. I mean, obviously, we saw in the opening run at Spa-Francorchamps that he managed to surge his way through the field, go from the back to P13 in the opening stint, which was a phenomenal effort, a phenomenal drive. And he could yet do exactly the same thing here tonight. I mean, what could we expect from BPV8 tonight in terms of his strategy? Will he go aggressive, or will he try perhaps a sensational overcut?
He does love an overcut, I must say, BP. He loves starting at the back of the grid, chucking on the hardest compound and going long. He loves to go long, and then he'll be able to get on that medium tyre and then run it to the end. I think he loves it. It's just like his default strategy. He loves doing it. He finds great, I guess, pride, and he loves to be able to start at the back and overtake people and, you know, put on a good show, which is always good, but this isn't going to be a boring race, so we won't see as much as it like we did at Spa. There was so much overtaking, and this is also another track that will provide that kind of levels of overtaking. So it'll be quite interesting. And obviously, safety car is turned off from what I've been told. So you can't have that instance of strategy coming into play. It's set strategy. It's going to be a set strategy unless you get damaged. So I am very interested to see what each and every one of these drivers do tonight.
Absolutely right. It's going to be tight, and opportunities in an abundance for everybody here. Obviously, a few names that obviously might have been necessarily, might have been a surprise not to make it into Q3. I'm going to go back to Thomas McInnes, who set the purple first sector in his final flying lap. I mean, he needs to perhaps do something different in terms of his strategy, maybe try something a little different, maybe extend on his opening stint and, ensure that he boxes perhaps later than those in the top 10 and just try and fight for that track position.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, if really, you got to think about it, right? You either go the medium and then go aggressive early, and then have to pit onto the hards, and then you have to sacrifice yourself later on in the race. The undercut in this game is strong for a little bit. It's strong for probably that first 5 laps of the stint, but it starts to really die off if you're pitting even at this track 2 or 3 laps later. You may be 2 seconds, you may have lost 2 or 3 seconds, but you gain 3 and more seconds later on. So it's very imperative of when you actually pit. And I saw last night, a lot of the drivers followed each other in to make sure that they don't lose that tire delta on that soft tire when they swap to the medium. So I am seriously interested to see what the best drivers in this region have to offer in terms of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite surprising yesterday, wasn't it? Seeing those drivers on the hard tyres in the opening stint, and they were able to stay in with those on the softs. Which very much undermined the soft tyre strategy that many of the drivers took on. I mean, Kieran Potter's stint was unbelievable in yesterday's race. He opened up the race, hard tyres, and was able to fight for the lead and bounce back after losing out to on various occasions. Was able to extend, go deeper. He then had the faster compound for the latter stint and was rapid on those medium tyres. So could it be the case again that the hard tyre is going to be OP in tonight's session as well?
Yes and no. I'd say there's less margin of error. Oh, it's hard to say. I'd say you can take advantage of the hard tyre more at Spa than you could at Austria, because here at Austria, that second sector, it's so imperative that you have that softer compound. Whereas with Spa, the corners that softer compound matters is kind of like Les Combes chicane, that Pouan, and the chicane after that, I can't remember what it's called. But you've got a lot of long-lasting straights here. Obviously, Austria is full of long straights, but they're not as long as the ones at Spa. So you can't get away with that hard tire as much. So I'm quite interested to see what the boys do tonight, especially with tire pressures, wing setups, floors, suspension, all the jazz. They're all running different setups, all different individuals, all racing tonight. So I'm very excited. Yeah,
definitely diagnosing and getting into that setup and figuring out what they want to do is definitely going to be paramount. I can see that they're trying to put a hashtag together in the live chat, trying to back you for standing up here.
I do see. Hang on, let's get it. We'll get a little thing going. We'll get pants, no pants, or shorts, guys.
I think this is stand up. This is surely the vote. This is surely for the vote feature, is it not? I think that's what we need.
Do we have a vote feature?
Yeah,
Slammer, do you have the vote?
Yeah.
Can you kick in a vote feature?
I mean, you can get 3 options. Is Ben
pants
wearing
pants, shorts, no pants?
Oh, this is going to be outstanding. So yes, make sure. Yeah, well, if Slammer does do that, we'll have the votes going in the live chat, so you guys can get involved as well. But yes, the hashtag We Stand With Ben is actually is trending actually at this point. So yeah, pants $1.60, $1.60 for pants. No pants is $3. Shorts are $1.90. Hey, is GM wearing pants? I can assure you I am wearing pants. Yeah, I listen. I carry myself with distinguish here, and this is Oceania F1 Invitational. I don't mess around, guys. Right? So this is this is imperative. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We appreciate all your support. I'm pleased to say, actually more relieved to say, that the timer is ticking down to 0, and we are going to be making our way down to Austria. And can't wait here to bring you this one, folks. So tell you what, let us know in the live chat who is going to win tonight. We'll read out your comments as well. Who is taking victory tonight at the, well, formerly known as Österreich Ring, formerly known as A1 Ring. It is now known as the Red Bull Ring. We head to the Styrian Mountains for round 2 of the Oceania F1 Invitational. It's going to be a special show. Lots on the line, of course. It's all about bragging rights. And if you are the likes of Jack Humphries, you want to try and usher in your first win of the championship, a redemption arc of sorts after hardships in race 1. What are your thoughts, Ben? Who's taking victory?
I honestly cannot tell you until I see the tyres. Because as soon as I see what tyres they're going to start on, then I can be like, okay, this is the kind of strategy they're going for. Obviously, we saw a lot of drivers opt for that soft tyre because they had a lot available. The drivers that are in the top 10 will probably not have any soft tyres available, so we probably won't see that. Degradation at this track isn't too bad. So we may see a split down the middle, hard, medium strat would be the usual go. Jack loves their overcut. So, yeah, it's all to play for.
It certainly is.
I reckon... Jack. I'll go Jack.
You're going to go Jack. Well, 40 is gone. Oscar King gets the dub. Prince as well, says Matty. Australia. Also, we got Bags Liddell. I know who won't be winning. He says Oscar King says Whitey OSRL. Oscar says Websy. Prince will win this, says Ads. We've got Oscar from Wayne Morris. We've got Prince, Jack Bell from the 123 says Buster. Oscar says Icarumba F1. And we've got plenty more as well. Oscar says Urban Scyther. We've got Banana Cake Pie. Don't be shy, get those Cars themed pajamas out. Fantastic. That's not a prediction.
I will show the pants at the end. I will show the pants or the no pants at the end.
Save it for the end.
We got it for the end.
Yeah, that's for real estate. That is. So there we go.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we got big shout out as well for Oscar for Deadly Fuller. We got, I think that's Taunt saying Oscar as well. Simo says Pump. Potsy says Spicy Salami. Plenty of names. Jack Harrington saying Greg as well. I think Jack says Bixican. Backing my boy Jack says Brock Bear. So there you have it. Plenty of names there to look at, folks. As you can see, it's a very warm, sunny day. No rain expected here in accordance to the telemetry here at this point at the Österreich Ring. And nevertheless here, should I say Red Bull Ring, the crowds watching on as we look to get set and ready to go once again here in the Oceania F1 Invitational. Sit tight, folks. 20 cars are going to be lined up on the grid, getting ready to try and unleash their absolute best in order to get the best results they can here in race 2. Remember, it's the official Formula 1 points system. We have got 25 points going to the winner, 18 points going to P2, 15 points going to P3, and so on, all the way down to 10th place, where they gain a solitary point for finishing there in the top 10 as well. Fastest lap as well also gains a point. And obviously every point does count, because come the end of only what is a 4-race championship, they need to try and muster in absolutely everything to, well, usher in a chance of winning the title. Obviously, we've got a big break coming up after this one. December will feature 2 more races, as now all the cars line up. 3 lights, 4 lights, and the 5th light. And it's pedal to the metal. And it is go, 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 go. Jack Humphries gets off the line very well. Ryan Bell getting a good run around the outside as well through turn 1. Goes ahead of Oscar King, who loses out. Kieran Potter fighting early on as well. Jumps past Gregory Prisbill. And now looks to try and charge on Riley McKay. Prisbill, though, fighting back as they take the climb, heading up through towards turn 3. Ryan Bell going for the leader on the outside, heading through turn 3 as well. Can't quite do it there. Oscar King filtering in behind them too. It's still Jack Humphries, though, that leads the way here on lap 1 of 36. They're all underway. A clean getaway as well. And they're all trying to make a charge. BPV8 is already up to 16th.
Yeah, absolutely. I must say it's been a pretty nice start there. I'm very surprised with the way they navigated turn 1, and I'm looking at the tyres at the moment. Only one person has opted for non-hard tyre, and that is Smitty. So Zach Smith, the only driver on the grid at the moment on the medium tyre.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. Place changes already, as you can see on the left-hand side. The tyres, though, vastly different choice from Zachary Smith. The sole car on the medium tyres. Make of that what you will, as Jack Humphries now comes under pressure, sets the fastest lap as you'd expect in the opening lap of the race. Humphries, though, making his way out of turn 1 at the Niki Lauda curve, being hunted down now by Ryan Bell in the Red Bull. Of course, no DRS active until the third lap, and Ryan Bell now looking to go for P1 honours very early on here. Challenges down the inside, and Jack Humphries, I don't think is going to have enough to certainly try and challenge him back, but nevertheless they're going to run wheel to wheel, heading down through towards Slosh Gold. Still at this stage, tiger line here for Ryan Bell. Jack Humphries can't quite find the apex yet because of course it's blocked by a Red Bull, but a switch back from Humphries. That is brilliant. That is sensational. Fighting back using his superior racing IQ in that scenario, heading through the Slosh Gold section is absolutely blistering. But Ryan Bell, the bell tolls for Ryan Bell, who takes the lead now here in lap 2. A sensational wheel-to-wheel battle that lasted a full 2 sectors.
Yeah, that was amazing. Side by side through 2 whole sectors, but nevertheless, we're already on to lap 3 and DRS will be enabled. So Jack Humphries, Oscar King, everyone all the way down to last, except Ryan Bell, will have DRS coming up to turn 3.
Yep, coming out now of the Niki Lauda curve, it's Ryan Bell who leads the way. Jack Humphries licking his wounds after losing out to the P1 spot in our previous lap. He might yet answer back. Still plenty of time left to go, as now we see some jostling further back. Zachary Smith now looking to try and bring his way to the forefront. Oscar King under a little bit of jeopardy from Riley McKay. Gregory Prisbill, though, answering back here to Zachary Smith. Ryan Bell still holds on to the lead right now. Are we going to see a move here this time as well? Kieran Potter entering the fray. Threatens with a move down the inside against Gregory Prisbill at this stage. They run wheel to wheel again as we take a look at the front wing of Gregory Prisbill heading through this middle sector, with a full view of Zachary Smith's Haas now as he sees the Haas rear wing. It's a little bit of a lock-up, I think, just on the rear there. It might have been the kick-up of gravel as he now makes his way out of the Rauschenwerth curves, heading through towards the final sector. Down now in towards the Jochenrindt corner. Ryan Bell now starting to stretch his advantage. Now nigh on 6.5 tenths of a second ahead of Jack Humphries in second place.
Yeah, he's put on a little bit of a gap here as Ryan Bell. They're all kind of fleshing themselves out. 5 tenths of the gap all the way down to P4. And I noticed Jack on that first stint of DRS on that last lap, and he does it again. He's closing DRS. So he's kind of managing his tyres here, managing the stint, and we'll see what benefits that provides. Like I said, he does love an overcat, does Jack. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, big moves as well for BPV8, who has now gained yet another place. He's up to 16th and chasing down the Simo, so Shubman Path is now down to 17th at this stage. Zachary Smith, 2.5 tenths away, has been threatening to take back P4 against Riley McKay as well. The Haas that has certainly been pacey, but needs to be. Remember, he's the sole car on the medium tyres, and we'll be looking to undercut every single one of these drivers on the hards, but that's going to be very difficult now. Essentially, everyone being on the hards has uprooted his entire strategy. It was a brave call, but at the same time, might not have been a sensible one at this point. Lap 4 of 36 as once again, Ryan Bell makes his way across. Riley McKay with the fastest lap of the race here at this point. 4th fastest in this classification as he looks to hunt down after Oscar King as they make the climb up the hill. Of course, they'll reach the highest point on this track as well. Jack Humphries getting closer and closer to the back of Ryan Bell's Red Bull as they head through turn 3 yet again at Remus. Oscar King also right behind. King getting a nice exit, heading out of turn 3 with the DRS now opened up here. Of course, would have opened up here on lap 3. Riley McKay now under pressure again from Zachary Smith, who sends it down the inside. I tell you what, it caught him napping there. Riley McKay, I don't think expected it, still holds on to 4th place, but Zachary Smith asking some major questions, and that one came out of nowhere. I think we might have lost. Our man Ben Connor. I think in the commentary box. Can you hear us, Ben?
Oh, sorry, my mic was on mute. Sorry, Riley. I don't think Riley saw him there, to be honest. Like you said, Zach Smith went for a late lunge, and obviously on that medium tyre, he's trying to make the most of it while he's got it. It's probably the changeover window is probably 12 laps or so. So he's got to make sure that he's using this tyre wisely. And you can see that the top three, well, pretty much the whole field, are being quite reasonable at the moment. No, other than Zach, who are going for outlandish moves. They're trying to make sure that they make that pit window, as Kieran Potter and Gregory Pisbel are going for P6 at the moment, coming down in towards turn 4.
Yeah, heading in towards Sosh Gold. Gregory Prisbel with the outside line. Potter now looks to the inside as they run wheel to wheel again. Of course, like I said, only one car on the medium tyres. Everyone else on the hards. Gregory Prisbel under pressure. Potter hanging it around the outside, heading through Roche Curve. And very shortly through Verth they will go, as now you see the Aston Martin again with very little to no room. Potter trying to find a way through, and they are banging wheels. But Potter, superior here on lap 6 and managing to take the place away from Gregory Prisbel. So that's P6 for the Aston Martin. Now, the key point is he needs to try and gather himself. Doesn't want to lose too much momentum because, of course, next on his list will be Zachary Smith. And I'm sure if you're Zachary Smith, you're very well aware of what Potter is capable of. So needs to try and escalate perhaps a manoeuvre this time on Riley McKay as they exit out of the Niki Lauda curve. Ryan Bell still leads the way. Jack Humphries, though, getting closer and might have run out of patience here, staying in P2. Did swap to the outside, having a look on the outside of the Red Bull. Ryan Bell, though, doing enough to maintain the place as Shupman Path gets past the Simo. I will say this, BPV8 as well. Now 5 places gained. He's now in P15.
Yeah, we're going to see him slowly do that over the course of the race with BPV8. Interestingly enough, considering Luke Rochford had a very good Q1, he's only 13th at the moment, proving that that pace that he had, it wasn't as consistent as we may have once thought. So keep an eye out for Luke Rochford, see where he can end up.
Yeah, we're right on board here with Zachary Smith, of course, currently down in 5th place in the Haas and trying to close on Riley McKay as well, still on those medium tyres. The big question is, when will he be looking to pit and come in to essentially break the chain of what we've already seen here at this point? Every car within DRS from P1 all the way down to P20, there has been a time penalty issued, and that is to VSC Boza in his debut race this season. A little messy exit, though, heading out of the first corner from Zachary Smith, and that's going to open the door for Kieran Potter, who will open it, well, take the invitation with open arms, and now moves himself yet up another spot. So that's 2 places gained in 2 laps. Kieran Potter now up into 5th place, and within 3.5 tenths of Riley McKay in 4th.
Yeah, it's good moving from Kieran Potter. He's being very methodical about the way that he moves through this field. Obviously doing it at your normal overtaking spots, except when he doesn't get the move done, he's quite nice with it through sector 2. So guys ahead, they've got to take note of that, considering his strength on the hard tyre was shown very well last night.
Yeah, Riley McKay might well be twitching because Kieran Potter, who I'm sure has very, very not necessarily fond memories of them two fighting together in the final closing stages, should we say, back at Spa-Francorchamps yesterday. Got very close, got very fraught between them, and you can only just see the gap. This is a statement of intent from Kieran Potter. He's already gapping Zachary Smith by 7.5 tenths of a second at this point. And now as they ride up the hill, could this be the case that the medium tyres have already burnt out here, as now we see a battle for the lead? Jack Humphries heads up through towards turn 3 and takes the lead of the race here at this point in lap 9 at the Red Bull Ring. Remember, 36 laps in total. We've now seen 9 of them, and Jack Humphries now leads the way. Oscar King down in 3rd place, trying to gain as well on Ryan Bell as he looks to try and advance his proceedings. Kieran Potter now getting very close to the back of Riley McKay. He was within 2.5 tenths of a second away from him. He's now skirting with 3 tenths, but straight back into the 2 tenths of a second mark now as well. So Riley McKay will have to start looking in his rear view mirror, because in comes Potter, who's looking for redemption in his own right after losing out yesterday in a very painful fashion.
Yeah, so it's a bit of deja vu here for Kieran Potter, is it? coming up against Riley McKay again, and in the same fashion, coming up behind him. He's clearly faster, not by much, but he's got to be careful, and he knows how hard Riley wants to race him. So, and obviously you've got that tension between the two, so it's only going to put more pressure on the situation.
Yeah, words were spoken yesterday. Kieran Potter certainly left frustrated. Oscar King, though, certainly not showing any frustration. He's going to look for the move and swap in back to the outside as well, as Ryan Bell now takes the lead of the race from Jack Humphries. They're going to run wheel to wheel now on the outset, heading out to the 90-degree right-hander. Jack Humphries, though, doing enough to hold on to the place and has the DRS as well, heading down the back straight. Look at this, Ryan Bell committing to the inside, trying to force the issue here as Boza retires from the session. It is still Humphries who leads the way. A very overzealous move from Ryan Bell that could have cost him P2 on track, because Oscar King is now chasing his tail, and once again Potter hunting over Riley McKay. It's kicking off in the top 5.
Man, time goes so fast when you're racing around Austria. We're already up to lap 10. So almost third of the race distance already. And the top, you could throw, like you say, you could throw a blanket over the top 5 at the moment. They're so close together. They would really, Kieran Potter really would like to get past Riley McKay here, and so would Oscar King. Obviously, Ryan Bell didn't have the DRS that lap, but Oscar King's all over the back of him now.
He certainly is. Oscar King right there. Riley McKay also queuing up. Look at it. It's like a car park. As now we see them make their way up the hill, heading up towards turn 3, swapping all over the place as Ryan Bell goes in deep, but a switchback straight away from Jack Humphries, who immediately pounces on him, and Kieran Potter now takes 4th away from Riley McKay. Jack Humphries now fights it back. Did so brilliantly after securing the switchback out of turn 3. That is absolutely sensational. And Riley McKay is losing out as well to Zachary Smith for that 5th spot as they make their way through towards Russian-Firth curve. The Haas now sending it down the inside against the McLaren as they go wheel to wheel, heading through the next left-hander again, heading out of sector 2. It's Smith, Zachary Smith now up into 5th place here on lap 11, and Kieran Potter has managed to surpass both drivers. He's now in 4th.
Yeah, Kieran Potter obviously making Riley and McKay uneasy going into turn 4, which allowed Zach Smith to get a very nice run. But Kieran Potter's on absolute charge here. He's sitting just under 2 tenths behind Oscar King coming up to turn 3.
Yeah, certainly is now. Jack Humphries currently sat in the lead, but for how much longer? Because Ryan Bell, who's been probing the issue, Kieran Potter as well, he's not done yet. He's going to go for a third overtake in the space of 2 laps, and side by side between Ryan Bell and Jack Humphries again. The frustration starting to spill over here at Austria as they run wheel to wheel again. Jack Humphries still with a nose in front. Ryan Bell still can't pass him as he now swaps to the outside, heading in towards Slosh Gold. The Red Bull looking to find it as they look to address this battle for P1. Kieran Potter, who has managed to overtake Oscar King now, has taken P3 and now wants something a little extra. Jack Humphries holding on to the lead of the race. Ryan Bell now down in 2nd, but Potter has been sensational. He could yet grab P2, he could yet grab P1. Kieran Potter on the pace here at Austria.
Yeah, he absolutely is, but in saying that, Kieran Potter's burnt a lot of his battery to get to where he is at the moment. He is significantly less battery percentage than everybody else, so Oscar King might know this due to how he likes to keep a mental memory of what everyone's battery is on based on how they accelerate past him. And we see another retirement of Jordan Arnold, who just wasn't his day.
No, he had a real tough time in qualifying. Ryan Bell now looking to chase up on Jack Humphries. You saw from the tyre graphic, Ryan Bell using up a lot more of his tyres than what Jack Humphries is. Jack Humphries doing a splendid job, and he is very much a tyre whisperer, is Jack Humphries. Ryan Bell taking the lead of the race here now on lap 13 of 36 as the ever-growing swap fest is happening here in the opening 13 laps. Jack Humphries now retakes the lead, heading out to Slosh Gold. An absolutely thrilling battle between these two that has lasted ever since the start of this race, and Kieran Potter, who has now brought himself into the fight in what can only be described as one of the most sensational fights that we have probably seen so far in league racing in quite some time. Kieran Potter doing his utmost here to try and bring himself into the podium affair, has done so brilliantly, but now would like to get something better. I mean, he's in contest for the race lead here. You can't write off Kieran Potter at this stage.
Absolutely not. He's 2 tenths and gaining on Ryan Bell. He's looking very, very rapid. Oscar King's also very consolidated at the moment in that P4. I think he did just want to let him go because he could clearly see how fast he is. But maybe a bit of engine overheating issues. I don't know why Oscar King would pull out like that unless he's thinking about his engine overheating. But you see Ryan Bell going into turn 3, going down the inside of Jack Humphries. And he's actually pushed him wide, which allows Kieran Potter to come down the inside and go down towards turn 4. Kieran Potter and Ryan Bell are side by side. He's got the DRS and he gets the move done.
Brilliant.
Kieran Potter, 2 moves in 1 corner.
2 cars in the space of 2 corners. Kieran Potter takes the lead of the race here at Spielberg. What a sensational move heading through Remus. He caught Jack Humphries napping after he got pushed out wide, heading out of turn 3, and now has managed to not only get past Humphries, but Ryan Bell as well, heading in towards Sloshgold. The Aston Martin in ascendancy here in Austria, around a track that has been glittered with fast-paced racing, that has certainly been coated in Red Bull colours for quite some time. Only Ryan Bell is not in P1 now. It is one Kieran Potter. After losing out at Spa yesterday, he's looking to garner it all back here tonight.
Yeah, he is, but he's also got to be careful. These boys behind him are going to want those positions back, only within 3/10 between the top 3.
Absolutely, heading up towards turn 3 now. Ryan Bell looks to snatch the lead away, locking up though the left side of the tyres. And now looking to try and fight back. Kieran Potter again opening up the DRS though. He does have it, heading down through towards turn 4. Marcus Costa now fighting it out here with Luke Rochford as well in a battle for 10th place, as Jacob Conius picks up a 3-second time penalty. Ryan Bell holding on to the lead of the race, but Kieran Potter will no doubt be back. Jack Humphries now in 3rd, Oscar King recovering in 4th as well, as we now see them stretch their way through this next left-hander. Unfortunately for BPV8 as well, he has lost lots of time. Quite a few drivers have already made stops as well. BPV8, Jacob Conius, G-Force Leo, all stopping onto a fresh set of medium tyres, as now we see Ryan Bell take them through on lap 15 through the final corner here at Austria. They're now going to tick across the line. Lap 16 will begin. And here is the tyre graphic. And credit to Kieran Potter, managing his tyres better than Ryan Bell. So that suggests to me that Ryan Bell, far more aggressive on this opening stint, spinning up the rears and the fronts that much more. Now, whether that's a setup issue, I'm not quite sure, but Kieran Potter now looking to plumb for the move for the lead once again, as Jack Humphries and Ryan Bell have been doing time and time again, and Kieran Potter now takes the lead of the race, but he won't have DRS because Ryan Bell's going to take it back. Can he take the lead back as well, heading through towards turn 4, inside line? Yes, he can. It's Ryan Bell now who leads at Austria, but a mistake as he loses the rear slightly, but recovers well.
Yeah, it's such good racing between the top 5 at the moment. Zach Smith obviously hanging in there, the harsh driver on that medium. He's now no longer the only driver on the medium, as we've had 3 drivers pit, probably due to damage. But the top 4 on the hard tyres, it's going to be very interesting as we're coming up towards the pit window when they're going to pit. Like I said before, Jack Humphries loves an overcut, but see what these boys do. Do they stay out and follow, or they go for the undercut? We'll see.
Well, I can tell you one thing, the pit window has opened for Jack Humphries, and those that started on the soft tyres, essentially, even though we had none starting on the soft tyres, in fact, obviously moving on to the mediums now, that pit window has opened. Obviously, that's not going to be such an issue here at this point. Marcus Costa now going past Luke Rochford in that battle for 7th place, but we can't take our eyes off this lead fight that we've got here up at the front end, because Ryan Bell, who's now going to come under some extensive pressure, of course. It's been a 3-car fight pretty much for the lead here at this point, and Kieran Potter is going to try and escalate the move, loses the car though, and look at this, Humphries looking to try and take any opportunity. Couldn't on that occasion. Has there been any damage? That's the key point in this phase, but naturally now, Potter takes the lead, but it certainly was a very, very slippy moment. Lost the car, heading through Sloshgold, and very nearly careering into Ryan Bell and taking both cars out.
They've got to be very careful. They're getting to that time in the stint where the tyres are getting towards that 50% stage where they get really slidey, especially moving that brake bias rearward. Obviously is going to be worse for your grip on your tyres. So these guys will be starting to move that brake balance forward to reduce the rear sliding. So as you can see there, Kieran Potter had a lot of rear sliding, so he'd be probably adjusting that.
Yep, some tyre changes as well now occurring. Jack Humphries is also on the move, currently sat in P3 as they look to battle for the lead again. Ryan Bell out in front, being chased down by Kieran Potter around the outside again as they venture out of turn 3, should I say. Jack Humphries right in behind, looking to make the big moves. Matt Plevey now moves up to 8th, but take a look at this. 4 cars now in the fight for P1. Oscar King joining the fray as now down the inside goes Ryan Bell. Kieran Potter hanging it around the outside though, trying to defend the position against the onslaught from the Red Bull as they make their way through the dogged double left-handers of Roche and Verth curve. have. It's Kieran Potter, though, who leads the way here at this stage, but still within the same tenth of a second is that man Ryan Bell, who has been threatening time and time again, maintaining the top spot in P1 on various occasions. But now, as they deep dive their way through Jochen Rindt, almost pushing Kieran Potter through the track. But look at this, straight away responding. In comes Jack Humphreys and also Oscar King. They're looking to try, and essentially I think they're trying to undercut Ryan Bell and Kieran Potter here.
That's actually very interesting. I believe they've only done that because they're P3 and 4 in this battle for the lead. If they were ahead, Ryan Bell and Kieran Potter probably would have followed them through. As you can see, Kieran Potter taking that DRS move very nicely into turn 3. And these two right now, the best thing that they can do is not fight. If they're going to be side by side, you've got to let them go.
Hold the phone. BPV8, that aggressive undercut that he pulled off earlier on, has actually garnered him net race lead here at this point. So BPV8 has managed to produce, I mean, if he pulls this off, I will be astounded. Has managed to position himself 6th place on the circuit, but with a great chance here to perhaps even take the overall lead of the race. Of course, Ryan Bell, you'd figure, has got to respond against what we saw, obviously, from those further down. Jack Humphreys and Oscar King, who obviously boxed just now. They're now behind Riley McKay as well, who is now fighting for the net race lead through the outside now and has managed to do it. Well, no, he hasn't. Sorry, I do apologise. It was Zachary Smith who he managed to brush past. But now, as we see, the top 3 come into the pits. Will BPV8 take the lead of the race overall here on track now as they begin their lap 20 of 36? Crossing the line now. You can see the cars leaving the pit lane. BPV8 now 2nd out on track because Luke Rochford is still yet to box.
He's going to have to seriously make those tyres work in order for this to happen. And like I said before, in our intermission, when you pit early, yeah, sure, you get all that tyre advantage of the undercut, but later on in the race, the overcut just proves to be much faster and stronger. So hopefully that proves my point right. Obviously, Al Karudin's also net P2 on that medium tyre, but he's probably going to get swallowed up here later on.
He certainly will do. Oscar King as well, going side by side here with Zachary Smith, and certainly this time around, King proving to be on top. You could argue that Al Karudin's in a better position because he's got 4 lap fresher tyres than BPV8. 1.2 seconds behind the man in 2nd. Of course, now we're going to be seeing Luke Rochford make his way into the pits as well. So there you have it. The last of the cars to come in to make changes. So there we go. He's going to look to try and usher in something as well. Ryan Bell also looking to make moves on Zachary Smith as well. And there's quite a lot of traffic here. Ryan Bell has actually come out behind Oscar King, who boxed a lap earlier than Ryan Bell as well. So as we look to digest this and sort this out, BPV8 leads the race overall for the first time after starting at the very back of the grid. But he's got a huge task ahead of him here. He's accrued 8 laps on his medium tyres, and Al Karudin has only done half the amount of work on his compound of tyres and is now within DRS here at this stage. Kieran Potter also making big moves as he launches himself past Zachary Smith on those fresh, hard tyres that Smith has. It certainly is sacrificing a lot of pace in this second half of the stint. As we now see the cars make their way through Stosh Gold, it is still BPV8 who leads the way, but he's about to get swarmed up upon by a series of drivers that are looking to take the lead away from him, and Al Karudin looks to be the first.
Yeah, Al Karudin, obviously 4 laps younger, but Jack Humphreys 6 laps younger, so a significant tyre difference between 1st and 3rd. And we also missed it, but Ryan Bell got 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that is, again, detrimental to him. He got that 3-second penalty yesterday, obviously for corner cutting in that final stint, which was quite unfortunate. But we'll see what Jax can do here. Also, I will be 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Well, I can tell you this, Jack Humphreys is the fastest man on circuit. He's just done a 105.215 on this medium tyre stint. Al Karudin, yesterday's race winner, back at Spa-Francorchamps, goes for the race lead again here at the Austrian circuit at Spielberg and has managed to take the lead away from BPV8. We could have expected it. The tyre life certainly is the difference maker, and Jack Humphreys now might also sense a potential overtake of his own. He, of course, being the fastest man out on track. Luke Rochford, however, has just taken the purple first sector and is starting to barrel in some serious delta time. As now we see the cars making their way through Rocheverth curve again. Look at this, Jack Humphreys now on the tail of BPV8 heading out to Sector 2. Very soon they'll be in Sector 3 proper. And here on lap 22 of 36 now, they'll cruise through the Jochen Rindt corner. and head down now towards the final bend on this circuit at Red Bull Mobile. Now, Jack Humphreys knows that he can't afford to stay in behind much longer because, of course, he's got a bigger fight ahead of him here, and that is the fight between him and Al Karudin, as now Oscar King goes to the move, this time on Zachary Smith. Breezes past as well in the Ferrari-powered Haas that has now been demoted down to 8th place, but might yet get another chance. Got to within the aero. Kieran Potter also up to 5th, as well as we now see Jack Humphreys. The move on Al Karudin. He's taken the lead of the race. Absolutely extraordinary. Jack Humphreys leading the way here, and Al Karudin now down to 2nd. Riley McKay up to 3rd. BPV8 down into 4th. So now the battle started to unfurl. Jack Humphreys is your race leader here at Spielberg.
Yeah, that's a very nice move there from Jack. But like I said, it's that tyre wear. Like BPV8 got absolutely swallowed by those top 4 who obviously pitted earlier before him. But Ryan Bell needs to get a groove on because he's going to lose a significant amount of spots with that 5-second penalty. But Oscar King has really lost out here.
Well, a big collision of sorts here. BPV8 making contact with Ryan Bell's front wing. Is there damage on the front wing of the Red Bull? Because, of course, they made severe contact heading out to the final corner at Jochen Curve, or the final 2 corners at least. And BPV8 coming into pit now onto a fresh set of medium tyres that will surely mean that he's out of contention for the lead of this race. Al Karudin now goes for the lead in his own right, though. Yesterday's race winner back again. What a strategy by the man who set up his own restaurant in Australia, of course selling the Malaysian food. We heard about it all yesterday, the passion in his voice. He is now fighting with Jack Humphreys, the fastest man in the Southern Hemisphere, now coming under scrutiny from Al Karudin.
Yeah, Al Karudin hits early, wasn't even a part of the top 4 fight for the first half of the race, and all of a sudden he's back in contention. It's a bit like yesterday, the second stint specialist, Al Karudin.
Yeah, sensational second stint it has been. We saw it yesterday as well. Brought himself into the mix in a sensational overtake at bus stop that granted him that lead. Fortunately, this time around, he's got to face Jack Humphreys. He's got Riley McKay all over his tail as well. Again, we're seeing, though, the same fight we saw, and it was at a very similar stage where we saw Kieran Potter and Riley McKay come together at Spa yesterday. We are now staring at a similar state of affairs with Kieran Potter on fresher tyres of anybody in the top 5. Very much the same picture we saw yesterday, as now we see Al Karudin again challenging Jack Humphreys in turn 3, and now Riley McKay and Kieran Potter going at it here, heading out to turn 3 and towards turn 4. Will history repeat itself? Will they make contact as they head down now in towards turn 4? This time around they don't make contact. They're so close to contact, and Kieran Potter losing out to Ryan Bell, who put in a sensational send to take 3rd place away.
A double overtake there from Ryan Bell. He took advantage of Riley and Kieran's fight there into turn 4, and he's just made it absolutely work on the freshest tyres in the top 5 alongside Kieran Potter. But obviously I'm deja vu bad going into turn 4 then. I was very worried about the contact, but these guys have gotten over their situation from yesterday and they're very respectful. So it's very exciting to see that these guys are able to drive this close together. The top 7 are all within a second of each other. And Gregory Prisball has actually retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, Gregory Prisball retiring in the pit lane. That brings an end to his race. Oscar King now under pressure. Zachary Smith on those hard tyres, going to look to try and send it up the inside as they look to go wheel to wheel again this time. And obviously those hards are going to be working exceedingly well towards the end of this race. So keep your eyes peeled here on Zachary Smith. He went on a vastly different strategy to anybody else. Kieran Potter now going down the inside on Ryan Bell. Riley McKay losing out to Oscar King as now they fight their way out of turn 4. Ryan Bell holding on to 3rd. Al Karudin with the lead of this race, currently being gunned down upon by Jack Humphreys as they exit out of Roche and Verth Curve. A vastly similar picture to what we saw yesterday. The only difference here, no Jack Humphreys yesterday, but he's here today and fighting for the race lead. But 2 Red Bulls once again in the top 3 in contention with the overall win here with 10 laps, nearly 9 laps left to go.
There is so much going on in this top 7. Like Ryan Bell and Kieran Potter are both actually out of battery. They're both flashing. So this is crucial opportunity for Oscar King to get through here and potentially up into P3. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, side by side again now between the top 2. Jack Humphreys looking to take the lead away, does so. And here on lap 27, heading out of turn 3, They'll make their way down through towards turn 4. The two Red Bulls now cemented together, second and third. That's Al-Karudin in second. Ryan Bell holding on to that third place. Now Oscar King has a look down the outside there, or down the inside of Kieran Potter on that occasion, who's currently sat in fourth. In the Aston Martin, still within near enough 0.2 of a second of Ryan Bell as they come through Roche and Verth Curve. Zachary Smith as well. Now, you've got to ask yourself here, Ben. Zachary Smith, hard tyres. He went on a different strap from anybody. Surely come the end of this race, he'll have a great chance to take them all on, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering his tyres are the same age as Riley, as Schumann Path gets a 3-second time penalty. Same age as Riley and younger than Al-Karudin. Al-Karudin might just fall down the order here because he's going to hit that cliff, that 30% or 25 to 30% cliff that we all talk about with all the tyre wear degradation and whatever. So Zach Smith in for a good race in the back stint in the probably last 6 laps.
Yep, well, they rise up the hill now at the highest point of the elevation. Again, Al-Karudin and Jack Humphreys dueling it out for the lead. Al-Karudin, though, is going to look to try and cement his place at the front end. Doesn't have DRS this time, but Jack Humphreys does. He's got the rear wing opened up now as he looks to try and take the outside line now as they swoop through towards Slosh Gold, and Jack Humphreys will indeed hold the place. Look at Ryan Bell, though, who's also looking to try and enter himself into the fight. Can't quite get past his fellow Red Bull counterparts as they make their way through the Roche and Verth curves. Kieran Potter in behind as well in fourth as they look to try and make their way through towards the final sector. It's still Humphreys out in front here, and he's managed to draw a lead of nearly half a second now. It's just dropped below 4/10 though as they make their way down through the Jockenrink curve. Very soon they'll begin lap 29 of 36.
I believe we're already up to lap 29. There's 8 laps to go, I believe. And it's going to be all to fight for. I reckon we may see it all pop off probably with 4 or 5 laps to go. We're going to start seeing it pop off. But the last 3 or 4 laps, we've seen them consolidate, recharge, and getting ready to attack. As we now see Marcus Costa coming up to the back of this pack. So we're starting to see 8 drivers as they go side by side into turn 3. But nothing really of it. Ryan Bell trying to get ahead of Jack Humphreys, but cannot get past him with the DRS. Jack Humphreys appears to not have DRS coming down towards turn 4, and he still goes for the move on Al-Karudin. Al-Karudin gives him the respect, and Jack Humphreys gets... Oh, they've made contact coming out of turn 4, and that allows Ryan Bell to come through up towards turn 5, and Jack Humphreys consolidates back into P2. Right, get back in that rhythm. Ryan
Bell taking the lead of the race in truly excellent fashion. Managed to find his way down the inside out of Slosh Gold and burst past Jack Humphreys, who's now down into second place, and Al-Karudin, who's in third. And now we have Kieran Potter, who's also joining the fold here, 2/10 away from those in the top 3. And he's dragging along Oscar King as well, and not to mention Riley McKay, who's 3/10 away off the back of him. But look at Potter, who is now hovering all over the back of Al-Karudin's Red Bull. Now, is the tyres, or are the tyres, starting to wear thin now on Al-Karudin's car? Not to mention, Zachary Smith, though, has picked up a penalty. So has Ryan Bell. So that could prove havoc again for Ryan, who, of course, did have a penalty yesterday sustained whilst out and racing. He's just grasped another one. And Jack Humphreys has just retaken the lead of the race now with 6 laps to go. How key could that be? As now Zachary Smith and Riley McKay go at it again, heading down through towards Slosh Gold. Inside line now for Riley McKay, looking to defend the place. He might just do that. 6th place on the table. He does. He holds on to it. Riley McKay now into 6th and is now chasing down Oscar King, but it's Humphreys on top. He's out in front here, 3.5 of a second the difference. The question is, can he bring it home?
Yeah, Kieran Potter is pushing Al-Karudin at the moment through the 2 left-handers in sector 2 and 3, and he's got no battery, so Kieran Potter is out of battery. Oscar King can see that, and this is a bit of an inverse of yesterday for Oscar King, where Oscar King has all the battery, but Kieran Potter doesn't. So he's got to make sure that he's able to utilise that battery correctly.
Yeah, well, as they make their way out to turn 1, what an exit there from Kieran Potter as he looks to try and ascend himself into the podium places once again. Of course, a vastly different picture to what we saw at Spa. Remember, he was taken out by Riley McKay heading through towards the Lacombe section. And look at this from Oscar King, who's also looking to try and follow suit, but a battle for the lead now ensuing as Ryan Bell looks to take the lead away from Jack Humphreys. They head down into Slosh Gold. Humphreys with the Tiger line will defend the place. The Red Bull can't do anything about about it. And now as they make their way towards the Rauschenwerth curve, Sterling's going to hold it around the outside and try and fight back for that P1 spot. The Red Bull trying to give everything here. Wheel to wheel between the two. Cars all dressed in blue. One a darker shade as he makes his way through the inside. It's Ryan Bell. A superb overtake. Tenacity at its very maximum. Ryan Bell leads the way here on lap 31, soon to be lap 32.
Say, Jax's racecraft over the last OFI, throughout the OFI series, has been very impressive, considering the where he started to where he is now, and the fact that he's able to do that with Ryan Bell is really proving how much he's improved and how good of a racer he is as he's going down the outside into turn 3 around the outside of Ryan Bell. And I believe he's giving him DRS, so there may be a little bit of piggyback riding here for the P1.
Yeah, Jack Humphries able to use the outside line to pivot his way back into P1. Now, Ryan Bell has got 5 seconds of time penalties. Now, that is going to be absolutely devastating when the end of this race occurs, because obviously every car behind him all the way down to P6 have yet to actually succumb to a penalty. And Marcus Costa, who's just jumped into 7th, also doesn't have one either. So Ryan Bell will see himself drop all the way down through the field here, and he's going to lose out massively as a result of this penalty. Jack Humphries now leads the way and is very nearly half a second clear as well. This is exactly what Humphries would have wanted. But now as we see them make their way through the final sector, it's all starting to become apparent. And now with Kieran Potter also hovering in behind, given the fact now that the tyre life is starting to become an issue for many drivers here. Al Karudin, who's trying to keep Oscar King behind, who obviously has better tyres than Al Karudin, could be on for a 4th place here as they look to climb up the hill now towards turn 3. Remember as well, the battle between Oscar King and Al Karudin could very well fare as a potential podium scrap now as we see them come together wheel to wheel. Oscar King looking to take a piece out of Al Karudin this time around. Zachary Smith now back up to 7th. Al Karudin holding on to 4th, and he's now trying to close down on Kieran Potter, who had a very uncomfortable run heading through turn 3. But Humphries now takes them through turn 4 and Slosh Gold. He still leads the way, nothing stopping him. He's 4/10 clear of Ryan Bell and is looking to consolidate it. Don't forget, folks, as well in the live chat, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you vote for your driver of the day, and make sure you plumb in and announce your votes as well through the link that we have in the live chat, as well as kindly provided by Slammer and the Oceania F1 Invitational team, folks. It's been a privilege. 3 laps of magic now ahead of us, folks. I tell you what, you're in for a real treat. The big question is, who's going to win? Ben, who do you think it's going to be?
Well, based on battery, Jack. Jack is significantly more battery than everybody else behind him. Everybody else is sitting at around 30%, 20%, even 10%. Jack Humphries sitting on juicy 90% battery, and he's just letting them fight, letting them go past him, and he's just going to absolutely pounce on the last 2 laps.
I'll tell you who else is looking to pounce is Kieran Potter. He had a very, very audacious look at Jack Humphries inside, and Humphries now looking to try and take the lead of the race here as they run wheel to wheel down towards Slosh Gold. Humphries now with his nose in front, a whole car in front, and he takes the lead as a result. Ryan Bell down to 2nd. Kieran Potter also looking to bring himself into the mix as they head now down in towards the double left-handers, Rauschenwerth curve. It's the Alpine of Jack Humphries now that leads the way here with only a small matter of a few laps to go. Certainly 2 laps after this one. We will be on the penultimate lap the next time around. And then it'll be one last chance to dance around the Spielberg circuit here in the Styrian Mountains. And Jack Humphries now crossing the DRS line. He won't be able to open up his rear wing, but Ryan Bell can. Kieran Potter right in behind this here. And I tell you what, 2 cars in this top 3, Jack Humphries and Kieran Potter, that suffered greatly at Spa yesterday. The complexion is looking very different. And look at Kieran Potter looking round the inside, trying a move this time on Jack Humphries, but Ryan Bell managing to take full advantage and sends it through past Jack Humphries and takes the lead of the race here on lap 35. Back comes Humphries though, not content with losing the place. He uses the DRS, cuts in deep. He's going to hang around the outside as the 2 duel again here at Slosh Gold.
Yeah, Kieran Potter, very unfortunate there to get a 3-second penalty. I was unsure if he got shoved off the track or not. They're going side by side through turn 6 is Kieran Potter and Jack Humphries as Kieran Potter consolidates. Jack Humphries has got 100% battery, so he's about to explode on this last lap.
Oscar King is also exploding on this final lap as well. He's just managed to make a serious overtake. Another serious overtake, though, from Riley McKay, who's brought himself back into the fight, and he's found a place. He's burst past Al Karudin now, and we begin the final lap here at Spielberg in dramatic fashion. Riley McKay looking for the big moves now as he makes his way in towards turn 1, but it's Ryan Bell who leads the way, and look at this. Jack Humphries with the rear wing open. He's got the DRS, makes his way through towards turn 3. Humphries leads here on the final lap here at Austria.
Yeah, and like I've said, he's got all that battery power. We'll see if it's enough to hold off Ryan Bell going down towards turn 4. Oscar King also lost out of position due to Riley McKay getting an overtake done. There's been massive collision behind with Marcus Costa.
Yeah, huge collision as well. Ryan Bell careering into the side of Jack Humphries, and it did not work out for Bell. It worked out for Potter, but both succumbing to time penalties. It certainly won't work out for them. Riley McKay, as a result, will surely get himself a podium, as will Oscar King. But Jack Humphries, what a sensational battle. What a sensational qualifying after a tough day yesterday. Back at Spa-Francorchamps, it's a redemption day for the fastest man in the Southern Hemisphere. It's Jack Humphries who takes victory here at the Red Bull Ring. He lays claim to his first win of the series, and a crucial one at that as well. Riley McKay comes home in second. The King is back. It's Oscar King. He's in third place. What a drive as well from Al Karudin. Fourth place after going long on that same medium compounder tyre as everybody else. But it's victory for Jack Humphries here at Spielberg.
What a race. What a bloody race. Obviously, it's unfortunate for Kieran Potter to get that 3-second penalty. I wonder if it can get removed. We'll find out, obviously, before round 3. However, Ryan Bell, very unfortunate 5-second speeding in the pit lane, but that's what you get, I guess. You got to make sure you're not doing those simple things that cause massive mistakes and push you down the order. But congratulations to Jack Humphries. Well-deserved win, and I did pick him. So,
that's a win. That's a win for Ben Connor, is it not?
It's a win in the commentary books.
Fantastic. What a race, guys. I mean, obviously, we've run out of superlatives for Jack Humphries, of course, winner of the OFI4 and OFI3, and PSGL F3 driver as well on the PC platform. Has certainly carried lots of plaudits. Without a doubt, a future F1 esports talent that's got to be on the ascendancy, and especially after today, first win of this particular championship, it's going to go a long way. 1.1 seconds clear, nearly 1.2 in fact ahead of Riley McKay. That's how it worked out after. Riley McKay, great drive as well, started 4th, finished in 2nd. Oscar King just dropping down a place, but a sensational run as well from him this weekend. Big points going to the King. As Al Karudin finishes in 4th. Kieran Potter, a good drive as well. Bags Liddell, what a drive from him, 13th up to 7th. As well as BPV8, who was just outside the top 10. He had a miracle second stint, because remember, even after boxing for that separate occasion, of course, losing out in that process, but managed to fight back to P11. What a fantastic race that truly was. And, you look at the likes of Jack Humphries, who's obviously struggled yesterday. He did exceptionally well in that final stint to garner a great result after challenging and certainly grinding his way from P8, starting in P8, after losing out in the opening lap in yesterday's race and dropping to the back of the field, having to box early on, taking an aggressive strategy from that get-go, coming home in P7. He's just come back and brought himself some major points tonight, Ben. What does that mean for a championship?
Well, it means a lot, especially when Al Karudin's actually finished 4th. How has Al Karudin come and finished 4th on that strategy, considering he was nowhere at the start, anywhere near the top 4? So Al Karudin, a very good race from him. And Jack Humphries, seriously, to be able to put what happened yesterday aside and solely focus on tonight, and being able to put in a performance like that, manage the tyres, manage the battery, manage his position on track. It's an all-round excellent drive and beautiful racecraft all around.
Well, I'm pleased to say that we've I believe it's Al Karudin who's won driver of the day. So congratulations to him. It was a splendid drive in that matter as well. And I can actually say that he actually joins us here in the commentary box. Big Al, not necessarily the podium like it was yesterday, obviously when you achieve race victory at Spa, but you're our driver of the day. You must be thrilled.
Oh, thank you for the guys that voting. Yeah, thank you. I didn't have any pace today. So, yeah, I was just driving, to be honest. and try to have a good race with the boys.
Yeah, again, you are the tyre whisperer. You did an absolutely sensational job of obviously managing the compound. Obviously, you accrued the most laps on that compounded tyre of anybody up in the top 10. And, it was a real brave decision to make. But, naturally, you must feel delighted about how it's turned out because it was a very risky strategy.
No, I'm just copying Jano, mate. I didn't know anything. I watched his video and then he's pit at lap 17. I was like, no one pitting at lap 17. I was like, why not? And then thankfully it worked out for me. I managed to jump heaps of people. And then I tried to get into the rhythm because when you're following someone, it's so hard to get into your rhythm, especially with your braking point and stuff. So yeah, after that, I found my confidence a bit again. So yeah.
And that's another P4, big points as well. And obviously, it's looking good for you in the championship because, of course, you had the race win yesterday, maximum 25, and then, of course, with the P4 today, that's more big points that are essentially going your way. 12 points after that one. So already in the first two races, 37 points accrued. You've got to be feeling confident right now.
It's not anything. Wouldn't say I'm feeling confident or anything. I just, it's a good moment at this time. But all I could think of is a bad moment. That if like the difficult moment that me have going through, especially racing wise. But yeah, this is a good moment. I enjoyed, but I sometimes miss the bad moments or the challenging moment. This is all good. This is all fun and stuff. But yeah. When the bad moment happened, that's the best part for me. I don't know.
Well, it was a fantastic fight, mate. We wish you all the very best. Congratulations on some more big points. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here in December.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Josh and Karma for commentating. And thank you for everyone to watching.
Thank you, El. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here in a month or so's time. So there you have it, folks. Big Al, of course, the man who would go on to lay claim to driver of the day. Now, the one thing I do love about Discord is the fact that it only shows the first letter of the person who's in the chat. So yeah, thank you for that. But I'm gonna take a big guess to say that this is Oscar King that joins us here in the live chat. Would I be right?
Yes, you would be, George.
Fantastic. I knew my intuition wouldn't steer me wrong. Oscar, another sensational performance from yourself as well. Very impressive, actually. Your qualifying, again, was very much a talking point. Front row, and it put you in a good place for a podium here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Was really pleased with quali. And the race, hectic being Austria, the DRS train is really crazy. But, we kept our nose clean and brought it home.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous race and a lot to manage. There was a lot going on in that top five. Just talk us through what it was like to manage, because you had drivers making sends left, right and centre. We saw the lead swap so many times as well. You were right in the thick of that P4 battle that was certainly ongoing with many different drivers in the fold. Just how difficult was that race to manage?
Yeah, really tough. Obviously, I think some drivers were taking different liberties when it comes to racing room, but that's all right. Look, I'm really happy with how I drove, and it's just racing ultimately. So yeah, good day.
Yeah, it certainly was that, and obviously gives you a bucket load of points again as well. Obviously, with the result that currently stands, it puts you in good stead for the championship still, and we've got a month now to wait until December when we have the next two events. Of course, 4 events in this championship. What's the process going to be like over the next month? Is there going to be lots of preparation on your part to get ready for the final stages of this championship?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of prep leading up to the first 2 rounds, and I'm sure there will be even more now that we're kind of a little bit in the hunt. We've got us half a sniff, so but yeah, I'll put it away for 2 weeks, thankfully, and then we'll get back to grinding.
Well, half a sniff is better than no sniff at all. Oscar, congratulations on a fantastic result. Again, my friend, great podium, and we look forward to seeing you back in December.
Thanks, George. Thanks, Karma.
Thank you, Oscar. Fantastic. Yes, and we're going to be bringing in some more now very shortly. We have got, indeed, Riley joining us in the commentary box, who, in his own right, Riley McKay, you had a tough day at the office yesterday, but you've essentially brought it all back again. Big points on the table for yourself. Obviously, it was a huge fight. We just discussed with Oscar King as well. You were very much in that similar scrap. Just talk us through that one. That must have been helter-skelter for you out there?
Well, yeah, you know, the getaway off the line was good. You know, we had a good formation. Everyone was quite sensible. Just about keeping it clean until the pit stops. But after the pit stops, it's when it really began. Having to get past Al, which I didn't end up doing, but also BPV8, who was out there and old hard still, to make sure we got that ahead of those guys on the fresh tires. Pretty chaotic though. 4 wide, nearly every corner.
Yeah.
So it was tricky to navigate that, but we did it cleanly, kept it clean, no warnings, and yeah.
Is it difficult to manage tyres in a circuit such as this when it's like 100% relentless right through the lap? Because you only have a couple of heavy braking zones, don't you? Most of the corners here are high-speed zones, and if you're lucky, you get a couple of mid-speed corners. Is it difficult to manage the tyre temperatures, or certainly manage the grip loss on the compounds?
Well, you can definitely notice the cliff, but I actually think the engine temperatures were a bit more of an issue tonight. They were really hot. I think I got to 139 at one point, so
wow,
that was also a factor. But yeah, I actually think tyres held on quite well, so that was yeah.
And looking ahead, what's the expectations? Certainly for yourself, Riley. Have you got some big ambitions? Where do you see the next 2 races going for you?
Well, Qatar is quite strong for me. I do love Qatar. Abu Dhabi, it's okay for me, but I do think I will be back in the same fight, same guys, all extremely talented and good, you know, and yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back at Qatar and Abu Dhabi. We wish you all the very best. Enjoy your break. You won't be able to rest too much longer, though. We'll see you in December.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, Riley. Riley McKay, everybody joining us here in the commentary box. And now, last but not least, certainly not least, the man who, by all intents and purposes, missed out on a front row yesterday. Well, he's brought it all back today, hasn't he? After a sensational lap in qualifying, he brought it all back as well in race trim and in great style as well. Jack Humphreys, congratulations. You are a race winner here this season in OFI.
Howdy. Yeah, feels good.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I mean that I was going to say. I mean, obviously there must be a sigh of relief almost. I mean, obviously after yesterday, you were caught right in the thick of, some real chaotic moments in the initial laps at Spa. But the recovery drive was sensational. Obviously, to bring it back and put yourself in a position of P7 when you started P8 was a real achievement. What do you take away from today's result?
I'll just take up the win, and it's not over. Like, there's still 2 rounds here, so I'll just take the win and move on to the next round.
Yeah, and obviously 25 points going your way. Obviously the P7 that you garnered yesterday granted you 6 points, so 31 in total. You're right in the precipice of where Al Qadira is as well. So obviously you've got opportunities heading through to the Middle East. What do you make of your championship chances as we head to Qatar and Abu Dhabi?
110% possible to win it. That's just what I go in as. And like last night, I was bit nervous, but after last night, but yeah, now I'm 100% sure that I can win it.
Yeah,
it's easy. There's a definite chance.
Oh, I don't.
Not easy, but yeah, it's a definite chance.
I don't believe you get nervous, Jack. I don't believe it. But nevertheless, it was a tremendous performance. In terms of the race management today, I just spoke to a couple of the drivers. Riley McKay alluded to the engine overheating and things of that nature, that was more concerning than the tyre degradation. It looked like you were managing your tyres quite well out there. Despite being on the same lap age of tyres, you seem to nurture yours that little bit more around the lap. Is that important to you? Is that part of your style as a racer?
Usually I struggle with tyre wear and engine temps, but tonight's race I was very calm, and I just forget about yesterday, and I was very calm and just driving smoothly, didn't get a single warning, didn't go off, didn't make any slides, and didn't make any mistakes, so it was just a clean race, didn't have to worry about my tyres at all.
And what's the preparation going to be like for the next month or so? Because obviously we're not back with this championship until December now.
Yeah, it's just going to be just practice for other stuff as well. But yeah, it's just going to be a lot of practice for that to win.
Well, we wish you all the very best. Congratulations on a fantastic victory, Jack. And we'll see you back at the start of December, 1st and 2nd.
Yep, see you there.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to him after winning that sensational race here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. What a visit, folks. And obviously, another chapter in the book of the Oceania F1 Invitational. I mean, what do you make of their comments, Ben? Was there anything that stood out to you in that interview?
Well, I mentioned in the race that Oscar King was weaving out, actually out of the train down into turn 3 into turn 1. And he backed, and Riley just confirmed it was because of the engine temps. So I was actually, I was actually right. So they were mindful of the engine temps. Some people are asking in the chat, why does the engine temp matter? Well, if you overheat the engine, you actually get less engine power, so you have less top speed. So that's what they were being mindful of. Especially when you go for overtakes, you also want that top speed. But yeah, very nice comments from all 3 drivers, and also Al Karuden. I believe he is in net lead for the F1 OFI, and I've had a lot of people ask in the chat about the pants. Now, George, I must show them. Right, I'm going to show them.
Let's just ask. Hang on 1 second before you do. Let's ask: are you ready to see the pants, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know in the live chat. Spam the chat if you want to see the pants. Come on. I'm not sure what I'm going to ask them to spam. But I'm not sure what to ask them to spam. Just spam something. Just spam yes or something. Spam yes, and then we'll show the pants.
Alrighty. So obviously tracksuit pants, clearly, and the slippers. There you go, fellas. There you go. Tracksuit pants and the slippers.
It's a new fashion craze, man. It's a new fashion craze. Yeah.
Absolutely. You'll be wearing this to every job interview. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It'll get you a job.
This will be revolutionary in a year or so's time. So sit tight, everybody. You know, if you're watching Nike, you know what to do. But yeah, absolutely outrageous. But no, you, George. No. Well, hey, look, listen. If you want to see what I'm wearing, I can assure you that I am straight up denim jeans, man. That's what I wear. So there you go. That's what I'm wearing. Straight up denim.
That's elite. That is elite.
Yeah.
Elite
Straight up denim jeans, bro. That's what I wear. But yes, folks, absolutely fantastic. I mean, what a second round. I mean, we've had 2 fantastic races at 2 vastly different tracks. It has been absolutely superb. We've got a fantastic title fight. You've had everything. You've seen Ben's trousers. You've seen mine as well. I tell you what, bring on the rest of the championship. That's all I can say. I'm going to ask you now, Ben, because obviously this is the first and only time we're going to see you in the OFI commentary box, because obviously we're trialing 4 different commentators across all 4 races. I want you to come out and say, who do you think's winning the title?
Oh. I reckon Prince.
Oscar King.
I reckon at the moment, him and Al Karuden, I believe, are 1 and 2. But I believe he will show the best pace across Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
Incredible. Well, there you have it, folks.
I reckon Oscar King.
This just in. Ben Connor thinks Oscar King wins the OFI title. We'll have to wait and see whether that is to be the case. But folks at home, I want to say a massive thank you to each and every single one of you for all your support here tonight. We have had such a blast bringing you all this action here. Of course, the OFI bringing you the best in Southern Hemisphere racing across various different leagues that are representing as part of this fantastic enterprise, and we appreciate being part of it. And thank you for being part of it as well. If you want to check out more, you can head across as well. Well, first of all, hit the follow button on this channel, but also go across to the social media platforms on Twitter as well, and of course various others too, and by checking those out too. I believe it's Oceania_OFI if I'm not mistaken. I believe it is. You can also head across to the Discord as well, as kindly supplied by Slammer in the live chat. Utilize that link, come in and join the Discord, and you can get involved as well and potentially be part of OFI in the future. If you want to check me out, of course, my name is George Morgan. I've been your commentator over the past 2 days. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at George Morgan TV, and that is the same across the entire board as well. And I tell you what, Ben, hit them up. What's your socials? Spread it if you please.
You can check out my YouTube channel at KarmaAUYT. I upload lots of funny videos, and I also did a torture race as well around Monaco, where I did a 100% race distance, no rules for the copy of the F123 game. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, there'll be more coming soon for that. But I will be back maybe commentating for OSRL. But yeah, you'll see me around for OCE and OSRL racing. So yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning out tonight. I also noticed the viewers dropped by half as soon as I showed my pants, so I'm sure that wasn't keeping the viewers around. However, thank you to everyone for joining for tonight. We really appreciate your support, and every day and every time that we do this, we're also getting growing viewership. So it's also great, and thank you to everyone for coming out tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ben, for being part of it. We really do appreciate your support here tonight as well. And make sure you check him out on OSRL as well, guys. Give Ben Connor a big old check out as well, and obviously known as Karma too. But guys, it's been a privilege. The redemption arc is complete in terms of what we saw from yesterday into today. Jack Humphreys is indeed a race winner. We head to Qatar and Abu Dhabi for our remaining 2 races to decide a champion here in the OFI. We'll see you then in December. Take care, folks.